By Nuan Nuan's nervousness eased. Fortunately, after deliberately gaining weight, Ji Chen didn't recognize her at first glance. As Bai Nuan continued to act nonchalantly and prepared to go up the mountain, Ji Chen suddenly turned back. His car zoomed back to Bai Nuan's side and then came to a stop. Nuan's nerves instantly became highly tense. Why has he come back again? Nuan straightened her back, gripping the shovel on her shoulder tightly. Thinking that if Ji Chen recognized her, she would hit him with the shovel, Ji Chen rolled down the car window and called out to Bai Nuan, who was about to leave. "Miss, I want to ask you something." Hearing Ji Chen call her big sister, Bai Nuan, she deliberately asked in a rough voice. "What is it? Go ahead and ask." She put down the shovel, glanced at Ji Chen, then lowered her head to look at the shovel, pretending to find something wrong with it. She crouched down and fiddled with the shovel randomly. Ji Chen was a young master born with a silver spoon in his mouth and didn't understand these things, so he couldn't tell that Bai Nuan was just randomly fiddling with the shovel. He asked, "Miss, I'd like to ask, do you work at the Mu family villa?" "Yes." "Then do you know Bai Nuan?" Bai Nuan didn't look at him, still deliberately speaking in a rough voice. "I don't know. I've worked here for over 10 years and have never heard of anyone named Bai Nuan." Ji Chen thought that Bai Nuan definitely wouldn't use her real name, and for a moment, he didn't know what name she might be using, so he asked again, "Miss, then do you know Ji Lai?" "I do know Ji Lai. He's the son of Sister Ji. I've watched Ji Lai grow up. Are you looking for him?" Hearing that there really was a child named Ji Lai, Ji Chen was overjoyed and immediately stepped out of the car. Bai Nuan instantly regretted it. Why did she have to say she knew Ji Lai? She forced herself to stay calm. She had gained dozens of pounds compared to before, and her figure had completely changed. With her head lowered and her hands busy with the shovel, Ji Chen probably wouldn't recognize her. Thinking this, Bai Nuan gradually calmed down. "Miss, do you know where Ji Lai and his mother live?" Ji Chen asked anxiously. Bai Nuan said, "I don't know where the mother and son are living now. After the students' summer vacation started, Sister Ji quit her job and left with Ji Lai. I don't know where she took her son. She's gone." Ji Chen was greatly disappointed. He was too late. Nuan actually took her son and left. After the summer vacation, she resigned and left the Mu family villa with her son. It was probably because his large-scale search for the child Ji Lai alarmed her, so she quickly took her son and left. It was only after much effort that he finally realized and guessed that Nuan was at the Mu family villa. By the time he rushed over, she had already left. "She's gone. It's been a month. Who are you to her? What do you want with her? Does anyone know where Ji Lai and his mother went?" Ji Chen answered irrelevantly. He couldn't process Nuan's questions now, only wanting to know where Nuan and her child had gone. "You'd have to ask the head of the household. If they don't know, then no one does." "I certainly don't know, anyway," Nuan said in a gruff voice, then stood up, hoisted the shovel, and walked away. Ji Chen watched her recede into the distance, utterly heartbroken. Nuan, do you hate me that much?" Ji Chen crouched down in agony. Burying his head in his hands, he searched for her so hard. For 10 years he never gave up, and finally got some useful news, only to end up with nothing. Where is his Nuan at this moment? Nuan left the Mu family villa with their son, but the son is only 9 years old and still needs to go to school. September is coming soon. As long as he keeps an eye on all the elementary schools in Guangqing, he will eventually find his son, and once he finds his son, he will find Nuan. Ji Chen thought this way and regained his confidence. At least, he knew that Nuan had been living in Guangqing. Ji Chen didn't know that his son was a top student. At the age of 9, he had already skipped a grade and was in the 6th grade. When school started in September, Ji Lai would be a middle school student. He was fixated on the elementary schools in Guangqing, searching for Ji Lai, but it was bound to be fruitless. After a while, Ji Chen stood up and returned to the car, thinking about what the woman had just said, that the homeowner might know the whereabouts of Nuan and her son. He has to go and beg Mu Changfeng for help. Thinking about his strained relationship with Mu Changfeng, yet having to beg him to find out Nuan's whereabouts, Ji Chen felt a knot in his heart. He never dreamed that one day he would have to go and beg Mu Changfeng. even with his toes. He could imagine the sarcastic remarks Mu Changfeng would throw at him when he went to ask for help. As long as Mu Changfeng is willing to tell him Nuanuan's whereabouts, he doesn't care if he's being mocked. Jiyu Chen drove away again, this time. He did not turn back. The sun set in the west, and the evening glow blazed like fire. Guangcheng Grand Hotel. Mu Changyu stood personally at the hotel entrance, waiting for his elder brother and sister-in-law to arrive. The eldest brother finally broke through that barrier, although the sister-in-law was angry. Fortunately, her anger subsided, and now the couple has reconciled. Then, the rest of them no longer need to play along with the eldest brother's act, whether it was Mu Changyu or the others. They all breathed a sigh of relief, deceiving someone for a long time, making their guilt grow heavier and heavier. Always feeling sorry for their sister-in-law. Now it's fine, they no longer have to pretend to be poor. Yuqing originally invited her good friend out for a meal and also brought along Mu Changze, her brother-in-law. But after Mu Changyu mentioned it in the family group chat, everyone who was in Guangcheng said they wanted to come along for the meal. Mu Changfeng agreed in the group chat, taking advantage of tonight's dinner to formally introduce his cousins to their sister-in-law. Shortly after, several luxury cars arrived one after another at the Grand Canton Hotel and parked in the lot at the entrance. Second brother, are you waiting for us? As soon as Mu Jiaoyun got out of the car, she walked toward Mu Changyu with a smile. The mature and steady man who got out of her car followed her silently. Accustomed to her habit of forgetting about him the moment she saw her own brother. Yeah, waiting for you. Even if the sister-in-law blamed them for helping their eldest brother deceive her, with so many of them around, she wouldn't single him out. He was just getting his siblings to help share the blame. Mu Jiaoyun asked. Has the eldest brother and sister-in-law not arrived yet? They should be on their way. I just called my brother, and Fanfan answered. Fanfan said they were about to leave. It's been a long time since I've seen the two little ones. I miss them so much. Mentioning the two children, Mu Jiaoyun's face lit up with a smile. President Liu. Mu Changyu saw the man approaching and greeted him. Mr. Liu is the head of the Liu Group, an upperclassman of Mu Jiaoyun. He had his sights set on Mu Jiaoyun early on, waiting for her to grow up. And now he is waiting for her to accept his pursuit and marry him. The Mu and Liu families are well matched in social status, and the elders of both families tacitly approve of their relationship. It's just that Mu Jiaoyun feels she is still young and doesn't want to get married too quickly. Moreover, among her siblings, she ranks 8th, and she still has 7 older male cousins who are unmarried. Oh, there are 6 cousins, and the eldest is already married. Chapter 352, Gathering, Mr. Liu could only desperately pray in his heart that the young masters of the Mu family would get married soon, so he could win the beauty's heart. Second brother. President Liu also followed Mu Jiaoyun in calling Mu Changyu second brother. In fact, he is the same age as Mu Changfeng, just 2 months younger in terms of birth month. President Liu doesn't care about age. As long as the Mu family's young masters are older than Mu Jiaoyun, he shamelessly follows her in calling them brother. Mu Changyu gave an affirmative response. I'm also used to being called second brother by President Liu. Second brother. Big sister, Mu Zhitong and Mu Aizi have also arrived. The sisters came together. Upon seeing President Liu, the sisters called him Big Brother Liu again. Big sister. Did you prepare a gift for our sister-in-law? Mu Zhitong asked Mu Jiaoyun. Mu Jiaoyun said, I prepared a set of jewelry, but I don't know if our sister-in-law will like it. I also prepared a set of jewelry for our future third sister-in-law. Lin Xiaojun is the one Mu Changze holds dear in his heart. And Mu Jiaoyun and the other younger cousins have long regarded Lin Xiaojun as their third sister-in-law. They admire Lin Xiaojun even more for being able to endure until their third brother became interested. It's not easy. What a coincidence. We also prepared jewelry. Not only did Mu Zhitong say this, but even Mu Changyu did as well. The siblings looked at each other and all laughed. They really are siblings, thinking alike. They have met the eldest sister-in-law, especially Mu Yu, who has had more contact with her, but they still don't know her preferences and are unsure what gift to give her, so they simply prepared a set of jewelry. After all, what woman doesn't like jewelry? Let's go, head inside and wait there, don't stand out here, it's scorching hot. Mu Changyu felt sorry for his 3 cousins and couldn't bear to let them stand outside. So he invited them into the hotel. It was indeed hot outside. The group followed Mu Changyu into the hotel. Since it was a family gathering, Mu Changyu arranged for the most luxurious private room on the hotel's top floor. The cost of this room was very high, and it was typically reserved for top-tier executives like Mu Changze. The other young masters of the Mu family arrived one after another. Mu Changfeng and his wife, along with their 2 children, were the last to arrive at the hotel. On the way, Mu Changfeng finally told his beloved wife that the dinner she had intended to invite Mu Changze and Lin Xiaojun to had turned into a gathering of the Mu siblings. Xu Yuqing, however, didn't mind at all. She has met all the young masters and young ladies of the Mu family. Previously, she didn't know that Mu Changyu and Mu Changze were also Changfeng's cousins. But that didn't stop her from getting to know the 2 younger brothers-in-law. The family of 4 ran into Mu Changze and Lin Xiaojun at the hotel entrance, and then they all entered the hotel together. A few minutes later, big brother, sister-in-law, Mu Changfeng pushed open the door and stepped into the private room with Yuqing. The moment they entered, his younger siblings all stood up and greeted them respectfully. Auntie, little auntie. One child ran toward Mu Jiaoyun, while the other rushed toward Mu Aizi. Mu Zhitong sat beside Ari Sai, watching Yaya nestle into Mu Aizi's arms. She smiled and gently pinched Yaya's little face, saying, "What, you 2 siblings don't want your aunt anymore? Stuck between you 2, I really don't feel welcome." Aunt Tong, Yaya, with her sweet mouth, called out to Mu Zhitong affectionately, then climbed from Ari Sai's arms into Zhitong's. Mu Zhitong was neither the eldest nor the youngest. Both children called her Aunt Tong. Aunt Tong, Qin Fan, not wanting to be left behind by his sister, also asked Zhitong to hold him. Everyone teased Mu Zhitong with a laugh. "See, you can hold one in each arm. How can you say the 2 little ones don't like their aunt?" Mu Zhitong replied with a smile, "If I had 2 more nieces and nephews, I could hold them all, one on my back and another sitting on my shoulder." Everyone burst into laughter. Yuqing was very fond of her 3 sisters-in-law. She felt that although the 3 sisters-in-law were the center of attention and doted on in the Mu family, they were not spoiled and showed great respect to her as their elder sister-in-law. Previously unaware that Ma Changfeng was the eldest son of the wealthiest family, now that she knew, Yuqing found the character of the 3 sisters-in-law even more admirable. After greeting everyone, she sat down with Mu Changfeng. However, it was Lin Xiaojuan's first time meeting so many of the Mu family's young masters and misses. She felt quite nervous. Yuqing invited her to sit next to her. After sitting down, Lin Xiaojun whispered to her friend, "Qingqing, I'm quite nervous. I didn't expect so many people to come." It's still Yuqing, the elder sister-in-law, who has the face. Among those present, apart from Lin Xiaojun herself, everyone was someone highly sought after in Guangqing. Although she had attended many social events with Mu Changze and seen a lot of the world, when facing the favored children of the Mu family, Lin Xiaojun felt inexplicably nervous. Perhaps it was because she knew Mu Changze liked her. It always gave her the illusion that she was meeting her in-laws ahead of time. They are all very easy to get along with, and they don't put on airs, so there's no need to be nervous, Yuqing comforted her friend. It wasn't her first time meeting these younger brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. Lin Xiaojun tilted her head to look at her friend, thinking to herself, Qingqing is the eldest daughter-in-law of the Mu family. This is an indisputable fact. She had long heard that the siblings of the wealthiest family were very united and held great respect for Mu Changfeng, the eldest brother. Mu Changfeng doted on Yuqing, and these privileged children would respect Yuqing just as they respected Mu Changfeng. A warm, broad hand reached under the table and grasped Lin Xiaojuan's hand. It was Mu Changze, who was sitting beside Lin Xiaojun. Lin Xiaojuan's instinctive reaction was to pull her hand back, but since Mu Changze had boldly reached out, he naturally wouldn't let go easily. He looked at Lin Xiaojun and said in a low voice, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." Lin Xiaojuan's face flushed slightly. She and the iceberg weren't in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship yet, let alone at the stage of meeting his family. My friend returned to the city center and said to treat her to a meal. Asking her to invite Iceberg along, who would have thought that the proud daughters of the Mu family would all come, it turned into a gathering of their siblings. With so many people present, she, Lin Xiaojun, did not belong to the Mu family. Noticing the subtle interactions between the two, Shu Yuqing chuckled quietly and started talking to the fourth young master, Mu Ziheng. Zihang, the medicine you prescribed for your brother last time worked really well, he hasn't had any pain since taking it. In life, if one can befriend a highly skilled doctor, the benefits are numerous. Yuqing felt very fortunate to have a brother-in-law who is a doctor, and his medical skills are quite good. Mu Zihang quickly glanced at his older brother and said with a smile, Big brother's condition was just a minor issue. He just refused to take his medicine properly, which is why he was in pain, with sister-in-law keeping an eye on him to take his medicine. The illness was cured as soon as the medicine was taken. However, it would be even better if Big Brother were willing to take a few more doses of traditional Chinese medicine for further conditioning. Mu Changfeng had a dark look on his face. Fourth brother, Mu Ziheng immediately complained to his sister-in-law, saying, Sister-in-law, look, Big Brother is glaring at me. Chapter 353, Apologizing. Yuqing said, Don't mind your big brother. Just prescribe him a few doses of traditional Chinese medicine, and I'll make him drink it. It's all for his own good, Mu Changfeng said pitifully. Ching, the traditional Chinese medicine is very bitter. He is most afraid of drinking traditional Chinese medicine. The fourth brother is too mean. He was tricked once last time, and now he's being tormented again. Good medicine tastes bitter but cures illness. Look, last time you took the medicine Ziheng prescribed, and you got better. Mu Changfeng couldn't admit that he had been faking his illness last time, so he could only glare at his fourth brother. Don't glare at Ziheng. If you weren't his older brother, he wouldn't bother caring about your health. Don't mistake a good person's intentions. Mu Ziheng smiled and said, Exactly. Big brother is my brother, so I care about his health. If it were someone else, I wouldn't bother. Sister-in-law, I'll write a prescription for Big Brother later. You can take it to the pharmacy to get the medicine. However, sister-in-law, you must watch Big Brother take his medicine and make sure he doesn't pour it out. He used to do that before, waiting until no one was paying attention and then dumping all the medicine. Mu Ziheng, now that he has someone to back him up, even brought up the past incident where Big Brother used to secretly pour out his medicine. Yuqing adjusted her glasses and said, I'll keep an eye on him while he drinks it. Mu Changfeng is in good health and doesn't need to take medicine. The fourth brother did it on purpose. Yuqing didn't care and cooperated with Larosai, who told him to deceive her. Mu Ziheng is Changfeng's cousin. He is well aware of his elder brother's physical condition, and the medicine he prescribed will definitely help Mu Changfeng regulate his body. Anyway, it won't kill anyone. Sister-in-law, after hugging his sister-in-law's thick thigh, Mu Ziheng promptly picked up the 2 sets of jewelry he had brought from the chair and placed them on the table. He then picked up one set and handed it to Yuqing. Sister-in-law, when my brother deceived you, I also helped him deceive you. I'm sorry, and I'm here to apologize to you now. I didn't know what you would like, so I bought a set of jewelry. If you don't accept this set of jewelry, it means you won't forgive me for helping my brother deceive you. Mu Ziheng had prepared 2 sets of jewelry, but he had taken out the rings from both. Although he was apologizing, if his brother saw that the jewelry he gave included rings, his brother would skin him alive. After he said that, Yuqing had no choice but to accept the jewelry he offered. Everyone deceived her because of Mu Changfeng. She was only angry with Mu Changfeng. She wasn't angry with her younger brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. Mu Ziheng handed another set of jewelry to Lin Xiaojun. Miss Lin, this is a gift I prepared for you as a token of our first meeting. I hope you won't think it's too modest. Lin Xiaojun quickly declined. Mu Changze, who was beside her, took the set of jewelry and inspected it before handing it to Lin Xiaojun, saying, They're all rough around the edges and didn't know what kind of welcome gift to give you and my sister-in-law, so they all prepared jewelry, thinking that no woman dislikes jewelry. This is a welcome gift, so please accept it. Lin Xiaojun said, President Mu, this is too valuable. Mu Changze replied, They've all prepared welcome gifts for you and my sister-in-law. If you don't accept them, it would mean you think their gifts are too meager. Lin Xiaojun, she was forced to accept the welcome gifts everyone had prepared for her. No, she was just an afterthought. They mainly prepared gifts for Yuqing, and knowing her relationship with Yuqing, they felt it would be impolite to overlook her. So they prepared a gift for her as well. Such a loving and friendly family. Lin Xiaojun was beginning to believe what everyone said. The Mu siblings were truly united and caring. Mu Ziheng took out his gift, and the others also presented their apology gifts one after another. Mu Changze was right. Each of them had someone buy jewelry from a jewelry store, thinking that by pleasing their sisters-in-law, they could act as they pleased at home in the future. Lin Xiaojun has not yet accepted Mu Changze's feelings. In everyone's eyes, a woman chosen by Mu Changze cannot escape, and Lin Xiaojun will eventually become their third sister-in-law. Although Mu Changfeng and Mu Changze watched their beloved women receive gifts until their hands were tired, their expressions were somewhat displeased, because both brothers remembered that they had not yet given their sweethearts any expensive presents. Yuqing did receive a set of jewelry once, at that time. She didn't know that Mu Changfeng was the eldest young master. She felt sorry that he had bought such expensive jewelry and worried that he might not have enough living expenses, so she transferred tens of thousands of yuan she had earned to him. Mu Changze is not a romantic person. He loves Lin Xiaojun deeply but doesn't know how to pursue her. Thinking that a simple confession would be enough to win her over, it was only after Mu Changfeng reminded him to pursue her actively and often send gifts to Lin Xiaojun that he could make her happy. This gentleman now only knows how to send bouquets and hasn't learned to give anything else. When he saw his younger siblings giving so many jewels to Lin Xiaojun as meeting gifts, this gentleman belatedly realized he had been outdone by his brothers and sisters. Mu Jiaoyun whispered to her two younger sisters, looking at third brother's icy face, "I'm so afraid that my future sister-in-law might return him. Third brother, let's not set our expectations too high." Mu Zhitong also stole a glance at third brother, the coldest third brother actually having a girl he likes. After they found out, they secretly chanted prayers of gratitude. It was truly a blessing from heaven that their third brother had someone he cared for. Although the two clueless men didn't look too pleased, the meal was still enjoyed by everyone. Yuqing said she would treat us to a meal. After the meal, she insisted on paying the bill, and Mu Changyu looked at his elder brother with hesitation. Seeing Mu Changfeng nod, he did not stop his sister-in-law from paying the bill. Even though they were dining at their own hotel, he still had to accept his sister-in-law's payment. If he didn't, she would be upset. Oh well, anyway. The money the hotel earns is for them to spend. In the future, his sister-in-law will receive a monthly allowance, so the money she paid for the meal will eventually find its way back into her hands to be spent. Thinking this way, Mu Changyu felt no psychological burden. After the meal, after chatting for a while, the two children began to doze off. Mu Changfeng picked up his daughter and said to his younger siblings, "Fan Fan and Yaya need to sleep. Your sister-in-law and I will take the children home first. If you have anything to attend to, go ahead." Yuqing picked up her son, said goodbye to everyone, and left with Mu Changfeng, carrying her son. The gifts she received were all carried to her car with everyone's help. "Sister-in-law, can I come to play with you often in the future?" Mu Azi asked. Mu Changfeng turned his head and glared at his youngest cousin. "You're about to start school soon. Do you really think it's going to be easy just because you got into college?" Maizi playfully stuck out her tongue. "Where is Azi going to college?" Yuqing didn't know much about her sisters-in-law, so she asked with concern, "I'm going to college in Kyoto, sister-in-law. When school starts, can you and big brother take me back to campus? You two can also travel around Kyoto together. It has the most scenic spots," Rain Qing said cheerfully, "as long as your big brother and I are free. We'll take you back to school." As her sister-in-law put it, she could also take a trip along the way. Chapter 354, Harmony at Home Brings Prosperity. Ari Sai smiled and said, "Big brother, sister-in-law has promised to take me back to school. You can't go back on your word then." Mu Changfeng tapped her forehead with amusement. "One after another, you all use your sister-in-law to pressure me." Everyone chuckled. It was rare to have such a sister-in-law. And the eldest brother was so doting on his wife. Of course, they had to cling tightly to her and use her to keep the eldest brother in check. In the future, if they ever angered him, hiding behind their sister-in-law would surely save them. After everyone helped load the items into the car, Mu Changfeng then carried the two children into the vehicle. "Everyone, you can disperse now," Mu Changfeng said to his younger siblings. The crowd waited until Mu Changfeng's car had driven far away before they gradually dispersed, each going about their own business. After getting into the car, Mr. Lu said to Mu Jiaoyun, "Your sister-in-law is a very straightforward person. She is indeed quite straightforward. We all like her very much. My brother has never had poor taste," Mu Jiaoyun said while driving. "Although my sister-in-law may not seem particularly stunning at first glance, she has a very refined and lasting appeal. With her glasses, she looks scholarly. My brother fell in love with her at first sight." Mr. Lu laughed and said, "I never expected love at first sight to happen to your brother. I thought he would never find a mother for his 2 children in this lifetime. We are all worried too." After learning about my eldest brother and sister-in-law, our anxious hearts were finally put at ease, except for my uncle initially being a bit displeased that my sister-in-law is from the countryside. "Everyone else is very satisfied with her," my grandmother said. "No matter what family background my sister-in-law comes from, if she can make my eldest brother marry her, then she must be capable. Anyway, Grandma thinks it's fine as long as my sister-in-law is a woman. If my eldest brother brought a man home, she would still accept it." President Lu chuckled. Mu Jiaoyun also laughed. "When my eldest brother first adopted Fan Fan and Ye, the elders in the family were truly worried that he would never get married in his lifetime. Big brother and sister-in-law. That's fate. It is fate. I really believe in fate now." President Lu turned his head to look at her. "We too are also very fated." Mu Jiaoyun also glanced at him and said, "I still have 6 unmarried cousins. We're in no hurry. If you're in a hurry and can't wait, you can pursue someone else. There are plenty of women who like you. I can wait for you my whole life. I've set my heart on you. Besides you, I have no interest in anyone else." Mr. Lu is a few years older than Mu Jiaoyun. When he first fell for her, she was still a minor. He waited for her to grow up, to complete her studies, to enter society, and even now, he is still waiting. His heart has long been filled with her. My third brother has found someone he likes, but my second brother and my other brothers haven't shown any interest yet. Who knows when they'll find someone they like. Are you sure you really want to keep waiting? I've told you, I can wait for you my whole life. Mu Jiaoyun fell silent. She had advised him not to wait for her anymore, but he wouldn't listen. It wasn't her fault. Mu Jiaoyun and President Lu were discussing Yuqing, while Yuqing was also asking Mu Changfeng, "Is that President Lu Xiaoyun's boyfriend?" Yes and no. Yun and President Lu haven't officially confirmed a romantic relationship. But everyone in Guangqing knows that President Lu loves her. Besides him, there's no other man around her. President Lu had his eyes on her early on, keeping her closely guarded and not allowing any other men to appear by Xiaoyun's side. Xiaoyun didn't like him at first, but as they spent more time together, she developed some feelings for him. Yuqing said, "I think they're a perfect match and get along well." President Lu is attentive and caring toward Xiaoyun, treating her like a child and spoiling her. If Xiaoyun marries him, she'll be very happy. Lu Hao is an outstanding man. If he weren't good, we wouldn't have silently approved of him being with Xiaoyun. Without their consent, Lu Hao shouldn't even think of pestering Mu Jiaoyun. Why hasn't Xiaoyun accepted him yet? Yuqing asked curiously. Mu Changfeng smiled and said, "We have many cousins. Although Xiaoyun is 26, she's actually the 8th in line, before we even got our marriage certificates." She said that since the 7 older brothers above her haven't married yet, she's in no hurry to get married. Lu Hao could only wait. After learning about our situation, Lu Hao is probably the happiest one, as it shortens the distance for him to win the beauty's heart. Now, Nagasawa and Secretary Lin are also gradually becoming clearer. Lu Hao wished he could transform into a matchmaker, helping his future brothers-in-law to tie the red string and get them married within a year. He will be able to win the beauty's heart next year. The age differences between you siblings are not far apart. Mu Changfeng is only about 10 years older than the youngest cousins, and there's only a 5-year gap with Mu Jiaoyun. My grandmother said that back then, several of my uncles got married around the same year. So the age difference between me, the second, and the third child isn't large. Some of the younger ones were also born in the same year. That's just how it is with a large, thriving family. Yuqing said with a smile, "Your family is truly prosperous, not just in numbers, but also in how united and caring you all are. Many families may be large, but they often come with many conflicts. It's rare to see a family as harmonious as yours. Their family is also the wealthiest." No wonder their family has become the wealthiest. It's often said that harmony in the family leads to prosperity in all endeavors. When the family is harmonious, everything thrives. The next generation will be even more prosperous. Even if each person only has one child, there will be more than a dozen children. They might not necessarily have only one child. If each has two, the number would be quite impressive. Yuqing, in the future, your family could run a kindergarten. Ching. My home is your home too. Don't be so particular about it. The villa also has a children's playground. You're the designer, so you know that best. Ma Changfeng really wanted to have two children. Perhaps it was because they had adopted both Fan and Yaya at the same time. He saw that the two children had each other for company. Although they sometimes argued, most of the time they loved and cared for each other. Yuqing smiled but didn't respond. Are the kids asleep? Mu Changfeng asked. Yuqing turned to look at the two adorable children in the back seat and replied, "They're asleep, honey, let's make a baby tonight." Yuqing chided him. Focus on driving. Mu Changfeng chuckled softly, knowing she had agreed. After returning to the classical villa where he usually stayed, he took a shower as quickly as possible. Coming out of the bathroom, he saw Yuqing already lying on the bed waiting for him. Mu Changfeng was about to pounce like a hungry wolf, but Yuqing frowned and said, "Honey, my old friend has come to visit." Mu Changfeng, no way, he had built up the atmosphere, and now her old friend had to show up. "I had when you go buy sanitary pads for me while you were showering. I'm not familiar with the area around here. When ye's a maid at the villa." Mu Changfeng's handsome face immediately fell. Soon, he adjusted his emotions, climbed onto the bed, and placed his large hand on Yuqing's abdomen, gently massaging it. "Does it hurt? Let me massage your stomach for you. It hurts a bit. Would you like some brown sugar water?" Young Master Mu was very considerate. Chapter 355, President Gu is here again. Without waiting for Yuqing's reply, he got out of bed and prepared to make brown sugar water for his wife. Drinking sweet soup late at night can easily make you gain weight. With your level of energy expenditure, you could eat midnight snacks every night and still not gain weight. Mu Changfeng still went downstairs to make brown sugar soup for Yuqing. Yuqing felt a sweet warmth in her heart. She picked up her phone and called her friend. "Xiaojun, are you home yet?" Lin Xiaojun answered honestly, "I'm still out shopping. President Mu insisted on accompanying me, saying that's what a date is like. I haven't even agreed to it, and he's already started dating me without even asking for my consent." He stubbornly dragged her around aimlessly, occasionally asking if there was anything she wanted to buy. Mu Changze is a very intelligent man, but I never expected his emotional intelligence to be so low. Lin Xiaojun would rather they interact the same way as they do at the company. "Yuqing, take it slow, give him some time to figure things out, or maybe you could take the initiative." Lin Xiaojun, "Ching, whose side are you on? I haven't even made up my mind yet," Yuqing said with a smile. "Of course I'm on your side." You could feel the unity and warmth of his family during dinner tonight. "Right, what else are you worried about? You and President Mu have known each other for years. Unlike Changfeng and me, who had a whirlwind marriage, you two understand each other thoroughly. He likes you, and you don't dislike him either. The only thing you've been hung up on is the gap between your families, but now you don't have to worry about that anymore. Besides, your family's conditions aren't bad. They're quite comfortable, actually." Lin Xiaojun fell silent for a moment before saying, "I just feel, well, uncomfortable. I'm used to seeing him as my boss. The thought of him being my boyfriend just feels awkward." Lin Xiaojun glanced at the tall, stern man who had bought her food and said, Ching, he's back. Let's not talk about this for now. I'll have the weekend off, so I'll come find you then to talk properly." "Sai, I'm really conflicted about this, alright? Let's talk another day. I need to rest after finishing this brown sugar water. Changfeng is downstairs making it for me. The president is really considerate. Both are sons of the Mu family, but Iceberg isn't as thoughtful as the president. Once when I had severe stomach pain, I made myself a cup of brown sugar water to drink, and he actually said I have such a sweet tooth that I should be careful not to become a fat woman. He even thought I was drinking sugar water because I had no snacks to eat, so the next day he bought me a big bag of all kinds of candies. He said that if I want to eat something sweet, I should just eat the candies instead of drinking sugar water, as it makes me run to the restroom too often and affects my work. Yuqing burst out laughing and said, he's a man who's never been in a relationship before, so how would he know these things? Just teach him slowly. Good men are all trained by their partners. Lin Xiaojun said. Taming him, it's more exhausting than climbing a mountain. Enough said. His back. Seeing Mu Chang's return, Lin Xiaojun quickly hung up the phone, speaking ill of the iceberg in his presence. Well, that wouldn't be good. Just as the call ended, Mu Changfeng pushed the door open. Carrying a bowl of freshly brewed brown sugar water, he asked as he walked, "What are you laughing at? I could hear you all the way from the stairs." Yuqing laughed and said, "I'll tell you later. The brown sugar water is ready. Get up and drink it before you go back to sleep." Mu Changfeng brought the bowl of brown sugar water over and placed it on the bedside table. In his other hand, he was holding a small black bag. Aunt Wen brought it back. He handed the black bag to Yuqing. His handsome face was slightly flushed. "Thank you." Yuqing stood up, took the black bag, and quickly gave him a peck on the cheek. "Honey, I suddenly feel like I love you so much." Yuqing left these words and then went into the bathroom. Mu Changfeng touched the spot where she had kissed him, smiling like a fool. His wife said she loves him so much. She rarely says sweet words, but suddenly saying she loves him so much made his mood as beautiful as the flowers blooming in the yard. On a warm and tender night, time seems to pass especially quickly. Mu Changfeng held his wife and fell asleep, feeling as if he had just dozed off when the sky brightened, before his eyes even opened. He habitually reached out to touch the space beside him, but did not feel Yuqing. That girl, she's up earlier than him again. Now that she's living in his villa, she doesn't need to get up early to pick fruits, yet she still rises so early. When he opens his eyes, the first thing he sees isn't her. Mu Changfeng is quite displeased. He changed his clothes as quickly as possible, washed up, and got ready to go downstairs. He opened the door and saw his two children standing outside his room. "What's wrong? Standing outside Dad's door so early in the morning without saying a word? You almost scared me." Mu Changfeng crouched down as he spoke, pulling his son and daughter closer to him. "Where is Mom?" Qin Fan replied, "Mom is downstairs. Brother Jiu Lai's father has come, and Mom is talking with him." Mu Changfeng frowned. "Why did you let him in? What is he doing here so early in the morning?" Yaya said, "Mom let him in." Mu Changfeng fell silent. He stood up. Holding the hands of the two children, "Let's go. We'll go downstairs and take a look." "Dad, is Brother Jiu Lai's dad here to see him?" Yaya asked. "Brother Jiu Lai actually misses his dad. I often see him secretly looking at his dad's photo, in front of others." Jiu Lai acted as if he didn't want to acknowledge his father at all, yet he secretly looked at his father's photo behind the scenes. Blood is thicker than water. It would be false to say he didn't miss his father. For 9 years. He had been without a father. Suddenly seeing his father again, he couldn't help but think of him. Maybe, does Brother Jiu Lai often look at his father's photos? Mu Changfeng thought that kid really didn't miss his father. Jiu Chen. Yes, Mu Changfeng sighed. After all, he's still a child. No matter how mature he is, he's still a child. "Dad, we clearly know Brother Jiu Lai, so why don't we let his father find him? He even met his grandmother with us, but she didn't recognize him." Qin Fan continued his sister's words. "Brother Jiu Lai's grandmother is not good. We all heard what she said. What Mrs. Jiu said that day was clearly heard by all 3 children. Qin Fan still remembers how awful Brother Jiu Lai looked at that moment. It really scared him. But what Brother Jiu Lai's grandmother said was really not good. She always speaks ill of Gu's mother. If someone speaks ill of their mother, Qin Fan would also look upset and even scold the person. His mother is the best mother in the world. Neither he nor his sister would allow anyone to speak ill of their mother. "You're still young, and you wouldn't understand even if we told you. But your brother Jiu Lai doesn't want to see his father, and he doesn't want his father to know where he is. We're on Jiu Lai's side. So you have to keep it a secret for him." Although the young siblings didn't fully understand, they were on Jiu Lai's side. Brother Jiu Lai didn't want his father to find him. So they would help him keep it a secret. Chapter 356. I just won't tell you. Qin Fan and his sister looked at each other. Well, they were still young and didn't understand the adult world. However, they must stand on Brother Jiu Lai's side. Mu Changfeng led his 2 children downstairs. Sure enough, Jiu Chen was sitting in his living room. Yuching sat opposite Ji Chen. It was unclear what the two had discussed, but Ji Chen appeared very anxious. Mu Changfeng guessed that Ji Chen had gone to his home and, not finding Ji Lai and his mother there, had come to disturb him and his wife again. Changfeng, Yuching stood up. President Ji is here to see you. Mu Changfeng walked over, first glanced at Ji Chen a couple of times, then looked at Yuching and asked her gently, "Are you still feeling unwell?" "No, I'm not." "Have you had breakfast?" Mu Changfeng asked again. "Not yet. I was waiting for you to get up so the four of us could have breakfast together. I didn't expect President Ji to come." Mu Changfeng turned to Ji Chen again and asked with a half smile, "President Ji, coming over so early in the morning? What, here to mooch breakfast? If you want to join us for breakfast, you should call me in advance. I'd have the chef prepare an extra portion. Otherwise, you won't have anything to mooch." "Oh, the chef always prepares an extra portion. But that's for my pet dog. If you don't mind, you can have it. The dog hasn't touched it, so it's not dirty. The ingredients are all clean and fresh. My dog won't eat anything that isn't." Yuching wanted to laugh but tried hard to hold it in. She knew these two were arch-rivals, because Mu Changfeng had always kept his identity hidden. Every time she encountered Ji Chen, Mu Changfeng was either not around or busy doing something that prevented Ji Chen from seeing his face. Thinking back now, Yuching felt that Mu Changfeng was deliberately avoiding Ji Chen, afraid that Ji Chen would expose his identity. "This man is so cunning," Ji Chen said. "President Mu, don't worry about me mooching breakfast. I've already had someone deliver my breakfast to my office. I'll be able to eat it as soon as I get back to the company." "That's good, my dog won't go hungry then. I was just thinking, if I gave you my dog's food to eat, would it come after you and bite you a few times?" After a moment of silence, Ji Chen said, "Mu Changfeng, there's no need for your sarcastic remarks. Didn't you come here just to let me mock you? You knew very well that nothing good would come out of us meeting. Judging by your expression, it seems hard for you to speak up. Is the GU Corporation facing an economic crisis? Need to borrow money?" "I have money, but I won't lend it to you. However, I can offer to buy out your GU Corporation." Ji Chen's face darkened, but remembering that he had come to beg Mu Changfeng for help, he held back. "Mu Changfeng, is Nuan at your house?" "Ji Chen, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't just say whatever you want. Your words will make my wife misunderstand me. If she thinks I'm hiding a mistress, you'll have to compensate me for emotional distress, given how long we've known each other. I'll give you a discount, just pay me 100 million in emotional damages." Ji Chen's face darkened once again. "Mu Changfeng, you know that's not what I meant. I meant to say, Nuan works at your Mu family villa, right?" Mu Changfeng also said to Yuching, "Honey, please don't misunderstand me. I have no other woman besides you. Ji Chen just can't stand seeing me happy and deliberately says things that are easily misunderstood." "What do you mean by Nuan is at my home? How could she possibly be at my home?" "Oh, you mean Nuan works at my villa. Have you seen her?" "I didn't know that. After all, there are so many workers at my villa, I can't possibly be familiar with every one of them." Ji Chen glared at him. "I really dislike Mu Changfeng right now. I really want to punch him, but I can't do it." Suppressing his anger and taking a few deep breaths, Ji Chen said, "I know, Nuan and her son are at your Mu family villa. She works at your place. I have no other options, but I went to your home and asked a lady, who said she knew Ji Lai." Mu Changfeng calmly replied, "Then go ask that lady. Why come to me? I truly don't know if there's someone named by Nuan among our workers." Before learning that Gu's mother was by Nuan, Mu Changfeng genuinely had no idea that Ji Lai's mother was the very by Nuan Ji Chen had been searching for over the past 10 years. Ji Chen grumbled inwardly, thinking, "Does he really think I want to come to Mu Changfeng? That lady said Nuan has resigned, and she doesn't know where Nuan went. You should know. Changfeng, tell me, where is Nuan now? As long as you tell me where she went, whichever project I'm currently negotiating, you can have it." Mu Changfeng chuckled. "Am I that useless? Mu Changfeng, if I want the projects you're negotiating, I can just take them. Do I need you to give them to me? I know where Nuan is. But I won't tell you. Changfeng, Please call me President Mu. Our relationship isn't close enough for you to address me as Changfeng so intimately. Ji Chen, President Mu, where has Nuanuan gone? Tell me, whatever you want, I can give it to you, as long as you tell me where Nuanuan is. Mu Changfeng, however, said to Yuqing, Qing, let's go have breakfast. He affectionately wrapped his arm around Yuqing's waist and led her away as they turned to leave. Qin Fan and his sister followed behind their parents. President Mu, Ji Chen anxiously rushed forward to block the couple's path. President Mu, tell me, what conditions do you want to reveal Nuan's whereabouts? Whatever you want, I'll give it to you, please. Just tell me where Nuan is. I'm going crazy searching for her. You don't seem crazy to me. Over the past 10 years, aside from aging a bit, you haven't even lost a pound of weight. Ji Chen. I do know where Nuan and her son are, but I still say the same thing. I won't tell you. If you and by Nuan are meant to be, you will naturally meet. If the two of you are not destined, you won't even recognize each other when you cross paths. There are many workers at the Mu family villa, but no one knows that Gu's mother is by Nuan. Even if Ji Chen asked in a different way, inquiring about Ji Lai, the other person wouldn't know the relationship between Ji Chen and Ji Lai, and would surely direct Ji Chen to find Nuan and her son. However, that older sister said that Nuan had resigned and left the Mu family villa with her son. Such a huge lie could only mean one thing. The older sister Ji Chen was speaking to was by Nuan, and they say they were childhood sweethearts, and that he was madly in love with Bai Nuanuan. After 10 years apart, Ji Chen actually called Bai Nuanuan big sister. Mu Changfeng was quite regretful that he wasn't there to hear Ji Chen call Bai Nuanuan big sister with his own ears. Haha, he couldn't help but laugh. What was Bai Nuanuan thinking when Ji Chen called her big sister? As for what I want from you, I prefer to take it myself. That's what makes it fulfilling. After saying this, Ma Chengfeng called for the butler and said to him, escort President Ji out. Yuqing glanced at him twice, but in the end, she said nothing. Chapter 357, So Stupid. Mu Changfeng, do I have to kneel and beg you before you'll tell me where Nuanuan is? Ji Chen shouted at Mu Changfeng. Mu Changfeng chuckled, don't kneel to me, I'm afraid it'll shorten my lifespan. I've said it, you and Bai Nuanuan have no fate now. Butler, see the guest out. Mu Changfeng once again had the butler see the guest out, while he took his wife and children to have breakfast, not bothering to pay attention to Ji Chen. President Ji, please. The butler escorted Ji Chen out. Ji Chen was so angry that his face turned ashen. He walked out with a dark face. He reached the door, then turned back and quickly entered the dining room. Putting on a sycophantic smile, he sidled up to Mu Changfeng and said ingratiatingly, Mr. Mu, is there anything I can help you with? Mu Changfeng's chopsticks fell to the ground with a clatter. He was frightened by Ji Chen's sycophantic smile. Since Bai Nuanuan left, for the past 10 years, Ji Chen's expression has almost always been serious, always giving off an unapproachable vibe. Such a serious man suddenly smiling so obsequiously really startled Mu Changfeng. Then, he really wanted to burst out laughing. Yuqing looked at the two big CEOs and felt that these two men didn't act like big CEOs at all. Ji Chen was being so obsequious that it completely overturned her perception of him. Ji Chen immediately picked up Mu Changfeng's chopsticks, took them to the kitchen to wash, and then came back with a beaming smile. He pulled over a chair and sat down beside Mu Changfeng, saying, President Mu, let me feed you, you just need to sit back and be served. Yuqing, Qin Fan and his sister were also staring at Ji Chen in astonishment. They couldn't help but feel that brother Ji Lai's father was smiling in a rather, well, somewhat foolish way. Mu Changfeng snatched his chopsticks back from him. Ji Chen, get away from me, your grinning and fawning behavior is making me uncomfortable. Giving me goosebumps all over. President Mu, you're a good person. Please tell me, where is Nuanuan? I've been going crazy looking for her and her child. I beg you, considering how hard I've searched, just tell me Nuanuan's whereabouts. You only need to say a few words. Ji Chen pleaded. President Ji Yuqing spoke up, saying, what's the use of begging Changfeng here? President Gu, even if Changfeng tells you the whereabouts of Nuanuan and her child, can you bring both of them back home? Can you and Nuanuan rekindle your past relationship? Your mother has already come to me and told me that she only wants Gu Lai and does not accept Nuanuan. You haven't even convinced your own mother. What good will it do to find Nuanuan and her son? To separate the mother and child, Gu Chen said painfully, "It's my fault. It was all my mistake back then. I was useless. I didn't trust Nuanuan enough, and I failed to protect her. Miss Xu, as long as I can find Nuanuan, I will go with her. Wherever she wants to go, I will follow. I don't want to be separated from her again. I won't separate her from her son. We will only reunite as a family of 3, with no separation. If my mother cannot accept Nuanuan, then I will leave the Gu family with Nuanuan and our son and live outside. I don't want to be the head of the Gu family anymore, nor do I want to be the young master of the Gu family. I only want to be with Nuanuan and our son." Gu Chen knew his mother was stubborn and, even after 10 years, still could not accept Nuanuan. "I only want Gu Lai, that grandson. He hurt Nuan deeply back then. How could he hurt her again now? He would never let his mother separate Nuan and her child. He doesn't want any status in the Gu family anymore, nor does he want to inherit the family's wealth. His parents can give it to whoever they want. He wants none of it. Without Nuanuan, what does it matter if he has a fortune of billions? He is not happy at all." Over the past 10 years, he had established numerous businesses in the neighboring city A. After stepping down as the head of the Gu group, he took Nuanuan and their child and left Guangqing to settle down in city A. With his assets in City A, he could easily provide for his wife and child, ensuring they would never suffer the slightest hardship. To prevent the Gu family from extending their reach and controlling his business lifeline in City A, Gu Chen allowed the Gu Group's business in City A to deteriorate, eventually forcing it to withdraw from the city. That way, even if he took Nuan and their child to live in City A, his parents would not be able to use the Gu Group's influence to manipulate or pressure him. "Miss Xu, you must know Nuan's whereabouts too, right? Please, I beg you to tell me, please," Mu Changfeng said irritably. "Mr. Gu, get out of here quickly, don't ruin our appetite. Even if I told you, you still wouldn't be able to find Nuan. He said it too, it's just that Gu Chen hasn't realized it yet. So stupid, he clearly said that Gu Chen and Nuanuan have no fate at the moment. And even if they meet, they won't recognize each other." Gu Chen didn't understand, didn't realize. Who could he blame? Steward, get this man out of here immediately. I can't stand the sight of his bootlicking attitude any longer. It's terrifying, so terrifying that I can't eat or sleep. He owes me 100 million in compensation for my emotional distress. The steward hurried in and once again asked Gu Chen to leave, seeing the stance of Mu Changfeng and his wife. Gu Chen realized that even if he rolled on the floor, Mu Changfeng wouldn't tell him anything. He had no choice but to leave in agony. After getting in the car, Gu Chen instructed the driver, "Go to the Mu family villa." Mu Changfeng was ruthless and unwilling to tell him, so he went to seek an audience with Mu Changfeng's biological mother. "Mrs. Mu is the lady of the house. She should also know where Nuanuan is. A woman's heart is always a little softer. If he asks a few more times, perhaps Mrs. Mu will tell him." Ring ring ring. Gu Chen's phone rang. Seeing that it was his mother calling, he had no desire to answer. He let the phone ring incessantly, until the mother voluntarily gave up. Not even 2 minutes later, the phone rang again. This time it was the father calling. Gu Chen still didn't want to answer. The parents were together. Answering his father's call was the same as answering his mother's call. What he said to Mu Changfeng was from the bottom of his heart and also part of his plan. He was truly willing to give up everything in the Gu family for Nuan. He didn't want to live a life without Nuan anymore. At the Gu family home at the same time, Mr. Gu helplessly ended the call and said to his wife, "He's not answering my calls either. What is he doing? I heard he went to the Mu family's villa. He left early this morning, and I asked his bodyguard, who said he went to Mu Changfeng's private residence. What has he been doing at the Mu family these past 2 days?" Mrs. Gu frowned. "He doesn't even tell the family what's going on." Mr. Gu said suspiciously, "What is he doing at the Mu family? we don't get along with them. The two families are bitter rivals in business and have no interaction in their personal lives. Why on earth does my son keep going to the Mu family one after another? After a moment of contemplation, Mrs. Gu tentatively said, Old Gu, do you think it could be that Nuan is at the Mu family? The only reason he would keep going to the Mu family one after another, regardless of everything, is if it's related to Nuan and her child. Chapter 358, The Obsessive Person. Father Gu said, Impossible, right, but what you said makes sense. Our family has a feud with the Mu family, and our son and Mu Changfeng are sworn enemies. Whenever they meet, they clash head-on. There's no way our son would go to the Mu family. As my wife said, only when it comes to Bai Nuanuan would our son throw caution to the wind. Back when Bai Nuanuan left, we sent people to look for her, and Chen, needless to say, turned Guangqing upside down, almost digging 3 feet underground. We couldn't find Nuanuan, but we all overlooked one place, the Mu family. We never searched the Mu family, and we assumed Nuanuan wouldn't go there, since she knew about our feud with them. But these were just our assumptions. Bai Nuanuan isn't foolish. She knew it would be hard to escape our pursuit. If she moves into the Mu family villa, we really won't be able to find her. The Mu family won't let us search their villa, Mrs. Gu analyzed, and the more she thought about it, the more convinced she became that Bai Nuanuan and her child were indeed at the Mu family villa. By the way, have you heard that Mu Changfeng is married? Not only is he married, but his wife is Xu Yuqing. I was shocked when I got the news. I couldn't believe it. How did Xu Yuqing manage to win over Mu Changfeng? In Mrs. Gu's eyes, Xu Yuqing was in no way a match for Mu Changfeng in any aspect. Moreover, the two originally did not belong to the same social circle, so how did they end up getting married? This was something Mrs. Gu couldn't figure out no matter how hard she thought. The news of Mu Changfeng's marriage had not been officially announced. Those who knew about it had only heard it from An Yu and Zhuang Xini. An Yu, at least, did not spread the news around and only told Zhuang Xini. Zhuang Xini did tell fourth young Master Zhao, but in fact, fourth young Master Zhao already knew. He even witnessed Mu Changfeng coaxing Mu Qing, which nearly made his eyes pop out in shock. Then Mrs. Zhao found out, and after she knew, she told others. As a result, many people in the upper-class circles of Guangqing became aware of the matter between Mu Changfeng and Xu Yuqing. If it's true, then when Xu Yuqing said she had seen Nuan and her child, she was telling the truth and not deliberately deceiving us. Xu Yuqing must have seen Nuan and her child at the Mu family's home. At this point, Mrs. Gu looked at her husband. Husband also looked at her. Honey, should we go to the Mu family? Father Gu felt that his wife's analysis made sense. Thinking that their son had already gone to the Mu family, he said, We don't need to go. It's enough for our son to go. Once he finds Bai Nuanuan, we can see Gu lie. Father Gu knew that he had a grandson who was already 9 years old, and he was so overjoyed that he laughed in his sleep for several days in a row. I just haven't seen what my grandson looks like yet. Our son is good looking, and Bai Nuanuan is a great beauty, so I imagine their child must be quite a handsome one. Old Gu, are you willing to accept Bai Nuanuan now? They already have a grandson, and that boy Gu Chen is so devoted. He's been persistent for 10 years without changing. Seeing as he's almost 36 now, are you still going to stand in their way? Although I still feel that Nuan isn't worthy of our son. They've already missed 10 years. How many decades are there in a lifetime? If they miss another 10 years, our son will be in his 40s. Can you bear to see him suffer in loneliness? Let it go. Our stubbornness will only harm our son. If we hadn't been so extreme back then, we would have had grandchildren by now. Mrs. Gu said with a stern face, I can never accept a servant's daughter as my daughter-in-law. I think that Bai Nuan had this in mind all along, which is why she gave birth to Gu Lai, hoping to rise in status through her son and marry into our Gu family as the young mistress. If we agree to let them be together, I won't dare to go out anymore. I'm afraid people will laugh at me for having a servant's daughter as my daughter-in-law. Father Gu frowned. Do you wish Bai Nuanuan had aborted the child back then? If she had done that, where would we have a grandson now? You don't agree to them being together. If it takes another 10 or 8 years for you to agree, they'll be older. Will they still be able to have children? Instead, I feel full of gratitude toward Nuanuan. I'm grateful that, despite being hurt so deeply by us and being all alone, she still gave birth to Jiu Lai, giving us a grandson. Sigh, now that I'm old, I just want a grandson, a successor. As for the rest, I've grown indifferent and don't care as much anymore. If you feel ashamed to have Nuanuan as your daughter-in-law, then just don't go out to see people. At our age, what's the point of attending so many banquets? Why can't we, as a couple, enjoy our later years in peace? Playing with our grandchild and enjoying life, isn't that more important than your pride? I advise you to stop being so stubborn. Be careful, or you might push our son, daughter-in-law, and even our grandson away. If it's just the two of us left, crying won't help, Mrs. Jiu said coldly. I only want Jiu Lai. We just need to secure custody of Jiu Lai. After all, we have a grandson now. Whether we have a daughter-in-law or not doesn't matter. She had lived a life of dignity for decades and simply couldn't accept a servant's daughter as her daughter-in-law. Seeing that he couldn't persuade his wife, Mr. Jiu put down his chopsticks and said, I'm full, I'm going out for a walk. He left his wife behind and walked away. When Jiu Chen came to the Mu family villa for the second time, he happened to run into Jiu Lai, who was just leaving the villa. Jiu Lai had been delivering flower seedlings to his mother. Upon seeing Jiu Chen, Jiu Lai showed no sign of nervousness. He calmly glanced at Jiu Chen's car and then walked past it. Jiu Chen didn't pay much attention to Jiu Lai. By the time he got out of the car, Jiu Lai was already far away. Mu Changfeng said that the bond between Jiu Chen and Bai Nuan and her son was not yet strong enough, and he was absolutely right. When he saw Bai Nuan, Jiu Chen didn't recognize her and even called her big sister. When he ran into his son Jiu Lai, he didn't take a second look. If he had, he would have noticed how much Jiu Lai resembled Nuan. The security guard on duty came out. Mr. Jiu, why is it Mr. Jiu again? He came yesterday, and he's here again today. What's going on with the trend? Has it changed? The young master's rival has been visiting for 2 consecutive days. Security guard, I'd like to see your madam. Is she at home? Jiu Chen lowered his posture completely, shedding all the airs of a big CEO. The security guard said, Young Master Jiu, you've come at a bad time. Our madam has gone back to her parents' home, and it's unclear when she'll return. You're not lying to me, young Master Jiu. I'm telling the truth. I was the one who opened the door when Mrs. Jiu left. She even stopped the car to tell me specifically that she was going back to her parents' home. If someone came looking for her, she said to have them come back in a few days. Jiu Chen, is he going to make another wasted trip? Brother security, care for a smoke? Jiu Chen took out a pack of cigarettes and offered one to the security guard. The security guard smokes, but he doesn't dare to take the cigarette Jiu Chen offers, afraid it might be a trick. If he takes it, he'll have to answer Jiu Chen's questions. Who knows what Jiu Chen might ask? When it comes to matters concerning the master of the house, he wouldn't dare to speak carelessly. Chapter 359. Finally understanding Mu Changfeng's words. Thank you, young Master Jiu, but I don't smoke. The security guard politely declined the cigarette Jiu Chen offered. Seeing the security guard refuse, Jiu Chen withdrew his hand and asked, Brother, may I ask you something? Do you know where Jiu Lai and his mother went? You're looking for Jiu Lai, the security guard said. Does young Master Jiu know Jiu Lai? Jiu Chen told a lie. I know him. I need to ask him something. Last time I came here, I asked a lady, and she said Jiu Lai's mother had resigned and didn't know where she went. I really have something urgent to discuss with them, brother security guard. Do you know where they went? The security guard looked at Jiu Chen. Suspicion arose instantly. Jiu Chen said he knew Jiu Lai, but Jiu Lai had just walked by, and young Master Jiu didn't even greet him. Instead, he asked where Jiu Lai and his mother had gone. Young Master Jiu was clearly lying. The eldest sister that young Master Jiu asked was also lying. Why lie? Jiu Chen also has the surname Jiu, and Jiu Lai also has the surname Jiu. Could they be from the same family? It seems that Mother Jiu discovered she was pregnant after the divorce, then gave birth to Jiu Lai. The former in-laws were unaware of Jiu Lai's existence. Could Jiu Lai possibly be from the same family as young Master Jiu? Thinking this, The security guard didn't dare to tell the truth and lied, saying, "Well, I really don't know. Aunt Gu's resignation would only be discussed with the madam. I'm just a gatekeeper and not very familiar with Aunt Gu, so how would I know where she went after resigning?" Gu Chen thought that made sense. Nuan must have guessed he would come looking for her here, so she resigned and left in advance. She definitely wouldn't tell anyone where she was going, so, aside from Mrs. Mu and her son, no one else knew Nuan's whereabouts. Gu Chen was very disappointed. He also blamed himself for realizing it too late. If he had guessed earlier that Nuan was at the Mu family villa and come sooner, he would definitely have found Nuan and her son. Moreover, after learning of Jiu Lai's existence, he had searched all the elementary schools in Guangxing for him. It must have been this that alerted Nuan, causing her to flee with her son, Mr. Jiu. Seeing Jiu Chen's disappointed expression, the security guard called out to him. Jiu Chen snapped back to reality, thanked the security guard, and then returned to his car in a daze. He soon drove down the mountain. Mu Changfeng refused to reveal Nuan's whereabouts. Despite mobilizing so many resources and manpower, Jiu Chen still couldn't find her. He began to suspect if Mu Changfeng was deliberately obstructing his efforts. Definitely, Jiu Chen was convinced that Mu Changfeng was the one causing trouble. Which was why he couldn't find the whereabouts of Nuan and her child. Damn Mu Changfeng. How dare he say that he and Nuan were no longer destined to be together, claiming that even if they met, they wouldn't recognize each other. The image of Nuan had long been etched deep in his heart. Even if they hadn't seen each other for 10 years, as long as he caught a glimpse of her, he would recognize her at first sight. Wait. Why did Mu Changfeng say that he and Nuan would meet without recognizing each other? Could it be? Jiu Chen suddenly remembered that when he asked the woman yesterday, she never looked at him from start to finish, just crouched on the ground fiddling with her shovel. He couldn't see anything wrong with the shovel. Was that woman trying to avoid letting him see her face, pretending to fix the shovel? Could it be that she was Nuan? Jiu Chen had already reached the foot of the mountain. Then he slammed on the brakes. He pulled the car over to the side of the road. Nuan hadn't left the Mu family villa. She was still here, but she had recognized her, so she lied. She was still carrying the shovel, as he had guessed. She had concealed her identity and was working as a laborer at the Mu family villa. The security guard earlier mentioned Aunt Gu, which means that not many people at the Mu family villa knew Nuan's name. That woman was Nuan. If it wasn't Nuan, she wouldn't have lied. Jiu Chen finally understood what Mu Changfeng had meant. He really is foolish. Thinking back on how he had actually called Nuan big sister, Jiu Chen felt like slapping himself twice. He hadn't recognized Nuan. Since Nuan was still at the Mu family villa, Jiu Lai must be there too. He had just arrived at the entrance of the villa when a child came out. The youngest young master of the Mu family was already in his teens. So this definitely wasn't a child of the Mu family. That meant, Jiu Lai. Jiu Chen was instantly overjoyed. However, this time, he didn't act smart but forced himself to calm down. Jiu Lai walked down the mountain on foot. Do he and his mother live at the foot of the mountain? Jiu Chen rolled down the car window and looked at those houses, guessing that they were built by the Mu family for the workers to live in. He got out of the car stopped here, and then he walked toward those houses. Seeing that the door of one house was open, Jiu Chen walked straight over. As he reached the doorway and was about to knock, someone inside came out carrying a bucket of freshly washed clothes. The person paused for a moment upon seeing him, then asked, "Who are you? Are you looking for someone? Who are you looking for?" "I'm looking for Jiu Lai. Could you tell me where Jiu Lai's house is?" Jiu Chen asked gently, and without waiting for the other person to speak, he added, "I am Jiu Lai's uncle. I've been searching for him and his mother for 10 years and only recently found out that they live here." No one here knew whether Jiu Lai had an uncle or not. All they knew was that after Gu's mother got divorced, she never contacted her family. Jiu Chen claimed to be Jiu Lai's uncle, and the middle-aged woman he was speaking to believed him. She pointed to the house next to the flower field and said to Jiu Chen, "The house right next to the flower field is Jiu Lai's home. Gu's mother works at the villa taking care of the flowers and plants. She loves flowers, so she specifically asked the housekeeper to arrange for her to live by the flower field." Ji Chen followed the direction she pointed and looked at the distant house, the door of which was closed. Is Ji Lai not at home? I see the door is closed. He might be reading inside, or he might have gone to the vegetable patch to pick some vegetables. He'll be cooking soon. His mother will be back from work and needs to eat, and he's the one who always cooks. His family's vegetable patch is nearby. Go and look for him. If you see a boy about 1.5 meters tall with a very serious expression, that's him. Hearing that his son had to cook at such a young age, Ji Chen felt that the mother and son were living a very frugal life, and his heart ached for them. He asked, elder sister, Ji Lai's mother, who is my sister? Are she and her son living a very hard life? Is her salary very low? The elder sister carried the bucket of clothes to a bamboo pole and said while hanging them, not at all, Ms. Ji is raising her son alone, and the ladies feel very sympathetic toward her. They pay her quite well, over 8,000 a month. She gets 4 days off each month and often receives clothes, fruits, and snacks as gifts from the ladies. Everyone takes good care of her and her son, so they live quite comfortably. Ji Lai is very sensible and understands how hard his mother works. He started learning to cook when he was 5 or 6 years old to help lessen her burden. Ji Lai's uncle, right, your nephew is truly outstanding. Not only is he sensible, but is also an excellent student. A real academic prodigy. He's only 9 years old, but he'll be starting 7th grade in September. He skipped a grade. Isn't that impressive? Our eldest young master admires him a lot and intends to nurture him. In the future, he'll definitely become a high-level executive at the DAMU Group. By then, your sister will be living a life of ease. Chapter 360, Father and Son Reunite. The young master and young miss also enjoy playing with Ji Lai. Although they are not the biological children of the eldest young master, he dotes on them very much. Since they like Ji Lai, the eldest young master holds him in higher regard. In short, Ji Lai has a bright future ahead of him. Ji Chen felt both joy and heartache upon hearing his sister praise his son. Ji Lai was originally the young master of the Ji family, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but because of his mistakes, the mother and son ended up working for Mu Changfeng. At such a young age, his son had to learn how to cook and do household chores. It truly reflects the saying that children from poor families mature early. It's all his fault. Thank you, big sister. I'll go look for Ji Lai. Ji Chen suppressed the pain in his heart, thanked the middle-aged woman, and then followed her directions to head toward the residence of Ji Lai and his mother. Ji Lai was not in the vegetable field. He usually watered the vegetables in the morning and then picked the day's supply to take home. With the sun blazing so fiercely now, there was no way he would be in the vegetable field. Today, he had picked bitter melon and long beans. At this moment, he is in the room using a spoon to scoop out the seeds of the bitter melon, then stuffing the minced meat into the bitter melon to make stuffed bitter melon. Besides the bitter melon, there are also a few eggplants, which can also be stuffed. In addition to stuffing bitter melon and eggplant, there is also stir-fried long beans to prepare. The long beans are placed on the coffee table, and Ji Lai has not yet trimmed them. The dog he keeps, named Da Huang, is lying at his feet. Suddenly, Da Huang stood up, darted to the door, and began barking incessantly. Someone must be coming. Ji Lai rose to his feet, still holding a piece of bitter melon and a spoon in his hand. He walked to the door, opened it, and as soon as it swung open, Da Huang dashed out and pounced toward Ji Chen, who was approaching. Big Yellow. Ji Lai quickly called out to stop Big Yellow. Da Huang had already stood up on its hind legs, with its front paws resting on Ji Chen's legs. Upon hearing Ji Lai's shout, it immediately lowered its front paws but continued to bark incessantly at Ji Chen. Ji Chen had just been badly startled. He hadn't expected there to be a dog. This dog is quite fierce. If it weren't for his son stopping the dog, he would have been bitten. Ji Lai, recognizing the person as Ji Chen, frowned and was tempted to let Da Huang bite Ji Chen a few times. In the end, he restrained himself and didn't let Da Huang bite his father. Da Huang, come back. Ji Lai called Da Huang back and then turned to go back inside the house. Ji Lai. Ji Chen had no idea what his son looked like, but after asking the woman, he confirmed that Ji Lai and his mother lived here. He quickly caught up. Ji Lai tried to close the door, But Ji Chen had already stepped 1 foot inside, so Ji Lai gave up on closing it halfway. Although his father had wronged his mother, as a son, he couldn't just crush his father's leg, could he? Ji Chen stood before his son, staring intently at him, and softly called out Ji Lai's name. This was his son, his and Nuan's son. Shu Yuqing hadn't lied to him. Ji Lai's eyes and brows resembled his, but aside from that, he looked exactly like Nuan, just now at the villa gate. He saw Ji Lai coming out but didn't pay much attention, otherwise he would have surely recognized him as his son. Seeing that he couldn't keep Ji Chen out, Ji Lai ignored him, turned around, and went back to where he had been sitting. Continuing to scoop out the bitter gourd seeds, he was very composed. Ji Chen gazed greedily at his son, feeling that he could never get enough of looking at him. The son's composure is just like his. Slowly, Ji Chen walked over, carefully crouched beside Ji Lai, continued to watch him, and then smiled. A silly grin. He reached out a trembling hand, wanting to touch his son's face. Ji Lai looked up, his eyes coldly glaring at him, and Ji Chen's outstretched hand froze mid-air. Neither retracting nor daring to land on his son's face. The son's gaze is just like his. He usually looks at people the same way, cold and detached. Ji Chen called out to his son carefully, his outstretched hand eventually pulling back. Ji Lai, do you know who I am to you? Ji Chen didn't manage to touch his son's face, but he was still happy, grinning foolishly as he asked his son. Without waiting for an answer, he laughed and said, Ji Lai, I am your father, I am your father. You know that, right? I am your father. After glaring his father's hand away, Ji Lai lowered his head again and skillfully scooped out the bitter melon seeds. Ji Lai, believe me, I really am your father. Ji Chen thought his son didn't believe him and kept emphasizing, I really am your father. When your mother comes back, you can ask her and you'll know. I am your father, your biological father. Annoying, Ji Lai said disdainfully. Ji Chen. The son showed no surprise or unexpected reaction. Instead, he found his repeated emphasis overly noisy. Ji Lai stood up and walked away again. Ji Chen also rose and reached out to grab his son, but Ji Lai avoided him, and he failed to catch hold. Ji Lai went into the kitchen, fetched an extra spoon, and thrust it into Ji Chen's hand, saying coldly, help out. Help scoop out the bitter gourd seeds. No need to keep emphasizing in his ear that he is his biological father. He already knew it was his biological father, so what? After the father hurt the mother, and with the paternal grandmother only wanting him back but not his mother, Ji Lai had no intention of acknowledging his father, let alone returning to the Ji family with his biological father. He still wanted to change his surname to Bai and didn't want to keep the surname Ji. Ji Lai had mentioned the matter of changing his surname to his mother, but she did not agree to let him change it. Ji Chen looked down at the spoon his son had shoved into his hand and let out an "oh." Although his son was cold and spoke briefly, at least he acknowledged him. Ji Chen had never done this kind of work before, but fortunately, the task was easy and not difficult. He watched how his son did it and quickly learned. Ji Lai, why do we need to dig out these seeds? If we don't dig them out, will you eat them? Ji Chen was left speechless. After a long pause, he said quietly, Dad has never eaten bitter melon. Ji Lai responded, no wonder you ask such a stupid question. With that kind of intelligence, are you really my dad? Ji Chen, I am your dad, definitely your dad. Look how much you resemble me. Being looked down upon by his son for being foolish. Ji Lai snorted coldly, shameless. He clearly resembles his father the most. Son, don't call me son, I'm not your son yet. That family of yours, my mother and I can't afford to climb that high. Don't go around claiming relatives. Ji Lai's words have always been cold. Ji Chen, however, felt that his son's voice was the most beautiful in the world. Ji Lai, I was wrong to have treated your mother poorly in the past. I know I made a mistake. For the past 10 years, I've been living in self-blame and regret. And I've never given up searching for you and your mother. You don't need to say these things to me. Get to work. Ji Lai did not want to listen to his father's explanation. I also feel that the father's explanation wasn't meant for him, but for his mother. Alright. I'll do the work. Ji Lai, how should I stir-fry these bitter melons? Ji Lai looked up at his father, his eyes full of disdain, then lowered his head and continued with his work. Not wanting to answer his father's question, Chapter 361, Father and Son Getting Along, Ji Chen, he didn't even realize what was wrong with his question. His son actually looked at him with disdain again, disdain for his stupidity. He admitted that in daily life, there were many things he couldn't do or do well, and his experience was even worse than that of a 9-year-old child. But he really isn't stupid. Ji Lai is his own son. If he were stupid, how could he have given birth to such a smart son like Ji Lai? After that, to avoid being looked down upon by his son for being stupid, Ji Chen silently watched and quietly helped his son with the work. After Ji Lai finished scooping out the bitter melon seeds, he carried the bitter melon into the kitchen to wash it again. After that, he brought out the washed bitter melon and the minced filling, along with 2 pairs of chopsticks. He handed 1 pair of chopsticks to Ji Chen. Ji Chen took the chopsticks, wanting to ask but not daring to. Ji Lai didn't speak either. He used the chopsticks to pick up the meat filling and stuff it into the bitter melon. Ji Chen understood. He followed suit. Stuffed bitter melon, Ji Lai said. Ji Chen laughed and said, "So making stuffed bitter melon is this simple? Is it tasty?" He had never tried it before. Chopping the filling isn't easy. It's tiring. Ji Chen let out an "oh." Stuffed bitter gourds are easy to prepare, working together. The father and son quickly stuffed half a basin of bitter gourds, stuffed eggplants. Ji Chen couldn't learn how to pick the beans. If you don't know how, ask Baidu. Ji Lai took the half-cut eggplant from his father's hand and effortlessly stuffed it. There aren't many eggplants, so he finished stuffing them quickly. Then, carrying the stuffed bitter melon and eggplants, he headed into the kitchen. Before leaving, he left a message for Ji Chen, telling him to pick the beans. Ji Chen said "oh" again. He really took out his phone and asked Baidu how to pick beans. Following the video's instructions, he began picking the string beans with practiced ease. This is so simple, it's no challenge for the great CEO Ji. After helping his son finish picking the string beans, Ji Chen, as if he had accomplished a great feat for his son, carried the vegetable basket into the kitchen and asked, "Is there anything else you need Dad to help with?" "Don't be so quick to call yourself my father," Ji Lai said coldly. "That old woman in your family might even question whether I was born to my mother and someone else. Back then, wasn't it because his father doubted his mother and did things that hurt her that she left that scumbag of a father?" Although his mother never told him exactly how his father had hurt her, Ji Lai wasn't foolish. On the contrary, he was very smart. From the moment Xu Yuqing learned her parents' story, she still helped her mother keep it a secret. Knowing that what her father had done to her mother back then was hard to forgive, Ji Chen was taken aback. Does Ji Lai know that his mother cannot accept Nuan? His mother had also said that after finding Ji Lai, she would take him back to undergo several paternity tests. Only if the results of each test were the same would Ji Lai be allowed to return to the family and be recognized as a member. How did Ji Lai know these words? Ji Lai, did your mother tell you everything? Ji Chen asked cautiously. Without even looking at him, Ji Lai said coldly, "Your biological mother might be my biological grandmother. I heard everything she said to Aunt Xu because I was there at the time." Ji Chen was taken aback. Taking the vegetable basket, Ji Lai began washing the green beans. When did you see your grandmother?" Ji Lai glanced at him and said mockingly, "Why do you think Uncle Changfeng showed up at your company's entrance?" Ji Chen, he recalled the unusual behavior of Mu Changfeng that day and quickly figured it out. He asked repeatedly, "Ji Lai, that day, you were there too, weren't you? Where were you? Why didn't Dad see you when he came out? Did Mu Changfeng take you to see me? Why didn't you come to see your dad?" "I don't need a dad, but I wanted to know what my dad looks like. Uncle Changfeng and Aunt Xu are both good people. They helped me fulfill my wish," Ji Chen instinctively said. "Mu Changfeng took you there that day, didn't he? He actually said nothing about it. He knew I was going crazy looking for you and your mother, yet he didn't tell me, deliberately watching me lose my mind. Are you crazy?" "I don't think you are, Ji Chen." What his son said was actually the same as Mu Changfeng's. "What right do you have to blame Uncle Changfeng? How can you have the nerve to blame him? If you can't find my mom, it's because you and she have lost your connection. Maybe you didn't even try hard enough." You just talked about it without taking real action, didn't you? Don't blame others for your own mistakes. Admitting your own incompetence isn't shameful. Ji Chen, son, dad, I'm saying, don't be so quick to call yourself my father. You don't owe me any explanations. The person you owe an explanation to has never been me. Ji Lai always spoke to his father in a cold tone, laced with accusation. There was also a hint of resentment. Ji Chen knew he had wronged Nuan and her son. It was all his fault. He also knew he was wrong. He regretted his past actions. Seeing his father's pained expression, Ji Lai began to shoo people away, saying coldly, "Go outside, don't stand here taking up space when you can't help." Ji Chen silently left the kitchen. The kitchen is a bit small, both father and son are in the kitchen, and it feels a bit crowded. He didn't go far, he stood at the kitchen door, silently watching his son wash and stir-fry the vegetables. His movements were very skillful. It shows that the son has done this kind of work quite often. Ji Chen's heart ached terribly. His son, Ji Chen, should have been born with a silver spoon in his mouth, because of his mistake, his mother's mistake. His son had to cook and prepare meals by himself at such a young age, and Nuan, for so many years, Nuan has been raising their son alone, and he couldn't imagine how exhausting and difficult her life has been. Her delicate hands, which were originally meant for applying makeup and developing high-end skincare products. Because of him, Nuan not only endured the hardships of pregnancy alone and raised their son by herself, but also had to work as a gardener. Thinking of seeing Nuan yesterday, she was carrying a shovel, looking just like a farmer's wife. Ji Chen's heart ached as if cut by a knife. He owed Nuan and her child far too much. Suddenly, Da Huang ran out again. But I didn't hear it bark. Maybe it was someone passing by. Or perhaps someone familiar has returned. Someone familiar has returned. Ji Chen immediately thought of Nuan. Nuan might have come home from work. Thinking of this, Ji Chen turned around and walked out. Yet his steps were as heavy as lead. Though he was anxious and eager to see his Nuan right away, he was also afraid that Nuan would drive him away. He won't leave. He finally found Nuan and her son, and he absolutely will not leave. He plans to stay here tonight. If Nuan doesn't let him stay inside, he'll sleep on the ground at the door and endure the mosquitoes rather than go back. Ji Chen is afraid that if he leaves, Nuan will disappear again with their son, Ji Lai. "Are you at home?" But it was Xu Yuqing's voice calling from outside. "Brother Ji Lai," accompanied by Qin Yu's childish voice. "It's not Nuan. Chapter 362. So annoying. Yuqing wanted to watch the show, so Ma Chengfeng eventually took his wife and children back to the villa. Originally, he thought Ji Chen still wouldn't grasp the meaning behind his words. That's why he hadn't planned on returning to the villa. Later, upon receiving the news that Ji Chen had once again come to the Mu family villa, Mu Changfeng guessed that this old rival had finally come to his senses. Knowing that Nuan was still here, Ji Chen would definitely be able to meet her. Thus, the eldest young master of the Mu family, who was also looking forward to his rival's drama, returned with his wife and children. Mu Changfeng. "Ji Chen, look how much face I'm giving you. I drove over an hour just to show up for your sake." Ji Chen, Ji Lai, hearing Qin Yu's call from the kitchen, came out. "Brother Ji Lai." Qin Yu trotted up to Ji Lai. "Brother Ji Lai, we're back again." Ji Chen saw a rare tenderness on his son's face, which was usually cold when facing him. Ji Lai reached out and gently patted Qin Yu's head, saying softly, "You're back, I'll play with you." "Okay, brother Ji Lai, your father, Ji Chen." So even a 4-year-old little girl knows he is Ji Lai's father. Turning to look at Mu Changfeng and his wife, Ji Chen didn't know how to begin for a moment. Mu Changfeng released his son. Qin Fan also called Ji Lai brother before playing with the big yellow dog. Uncle Changfeng, Aunt Shu, Ji Lai greeted politely. Then, he went to turn on the fan. Ji Chen belatedly realized that he had long been sweating profusely from the heat, especially since he was dressed in a suit and tie. Because since he had entered, his son hadn't turned on the fan. His attention was entirely on his son, so he overlooked, now, seeing how attentively his son treated Mu Changfeng and his wife. Ji Chen felt extremely uncomfortable, but he couldn't say a single bad word about Mu Changfeng. No matter what, Nuan had a job at the Mu family villa, earning a salary to support their son and having a place to stay. All of these were provided by the Mu family, and he owed them gratitude. I also owe the Mu family a huge favor. Gu Lai personally brewed tea and even brought out all the snacks and pastries at home to entertain Mu Changfeng and his wife. The more Gu Chen watched, the more sour he felt, and jealous that Mu Changfeng could receive the highest treatment from his son. In Gu Lai's case, offering the best food to entertain Mu Changfeng was considered the highest treatment. Mu Changfeng held the half cup of tea that Gu Lai had poured for him, took a slow sip, and his gaze was fixed on Gu Chen. After taking a sip of tea, Mu Changfeng said to Gu Chen, "At least you're not completely foolish, you finally figured it out," Gu Chen said with a stern face. "Would it kill you to be clearer? I almost made another wasted trip." "Exactly, it would kill me to be clearer, so why should I explain it clearly to you? You don't have the intelligence to figure it out, so it serves you right if you spend 10 years searching and still can't find Nuan and her son. You should still thank me. If it weren't for me and my wife, you'd be searching for another 10 or 20 years and still not find them." Mu Changfeng struck the pose of a benefactor. "Gu Chen, from now on, you'd better be polite when you see me. You owe me a huge favor." Gu Chen pursed his lips and said, "No matter what, Changfeng, thank you this time. I owe you a favor. In the future, if there's anything you need from me, I'll do my best to help you for free 3 times, as a way to repay you." "Only 3 times for free, Gu Lai, look how stingy your dad is." Gu Chen's face darkened. Gu Lai said coldly, "Uncle Changfeng, he can't be called my father yet. The paternity tests haven't been done, so how could I dare to acknowledge him as my father?" Gu Lai's words were absolutely sarcastic. "Son, there's no need for a paternity test. I believe you are my son." Now that Gu Chen has found his son, perhaps he won't be able to bring him back to the Gu family anytime soon, but he won't do a paternity test. Gu Lai is his son. He believes that's his son, and that's enough. As for whether the parents believe it or not, he doesn't care. He also doesn't allow the parents to take their son for a paternity test, as that would be rubbing salt in Nuan's wounds and showing distrust in her. 10 years ago, he hurt Nuan and was separated from her for a decade, all because he didn't trust her enough. He has suffered the consequences of not trusting enough. He doesn't want to go through it again. He can't bear another separation. Gu Lai ignored him. Seeing Gu Lai's attitude towards Gu Chen, Mu Changfeng found it quite satisfying. Haha. So Gu Chen is having his day too. After enjoying the sight of his rival being put in his place by Gu Lai, Mu Changfeng said contentedly to Yuqing, "Honey, let's go back for dinner and see if Nuan is off work yet. Tell her we're treating her to a meal at the villa." This is deliberately preventing Gu Chen from seeing Nuan too early. Mu Changfeng. Gu Chen started by calling out with a dark expression, but soon switched to a gentle tone. Mu Changfeng spat out a mouthful of tea. "Gu Chen, speak properly. Don't sound so effeminate. You scared me so much I spat out the tea I was drinking. I'm really not used to you being so gentle with me. It's fine to be gentle. But don't use that coquettish tone. It's genuinely terrifying. You know, I got goosebumps all over. Come on, call me brother in that coquettish voice a couple more times." Yuqing turned her face away, covering her mouth to stifle a laugh. Gu Chen's face darkened. Even Gu Lai seemed like he was trying not to laugh. He knew that his biological father and Uncle Changfeng were at odds with each other, being sworn enemies. However, he and his mother were able to live well, all because the Mu family had given his mother a job. Over the years, everyone had also taken care of him and his mother. His mother said that even if he were to acknowledge his roots and return to the Gu family in the future, he must always remember the kindness of the Mu family and never oppose them. Don't be like his father, always targeting Mu Changfeng, although the mother also earned her income through hard work. If it weren't for the Mu family giving her a job, she and her son wouldn't have been able to live a stable life for 10 years, so we should still remember the kindness of the Mu family. At this moment, looking at the two of them and listening to their conversation, Gu Lai felt that these two didn't seem like sworn enemies. It's more like a feud. If it were a man and a woman, it would be a love-hate relationship. But since it's two grown men, it's just like tigers fighting. You're a few years younger than me, and you have the nerve to ask me to call you brother, Ji Chen teased Mu Changfeng. Mu Changfeng laughed and said, she's just a few years younger than you, that's why I want to hear you call me brother. Will you, if you call me brother a few times? I won't keep Aunt Ji at the manor for dinner, so you two can reunite after 10 years apart. In the end, Mu Changfeng added, right now, Aunt Ji is still a worker at my manor. As long as I say a word to the butler, she can stay here. Ji Chen gritted his teeth and said, Mu Changfeng, don't go too far, I am going too far. So what, do you dare to bite me? Ji Chen's face was as black as coal, he dared not and could not bite Mu Changfeng, so infuriating. Chapter 363. Laughing until my stomach hurts. Miss Shu, you should also keep your man in check. Ji Chen couldn't help but say to Shu Yuqing. He had no way to deal with Mu Changfeng. But Shu Yuqing could definitely keep him in line. The men of the Mu family have a fine tradition. They all dote on their wives. In the mouths of others, the men of the Mu family are henpecked. But for women, they are highly sought after. Yuqing smiled and said, my Changfeng didn't do anything to President Ji. So why should I bother with him? Watching Ji Chen being troubled by Mu Changfeng, she felt nothing but satisfaction. After all, it was Ji Chen who hurt Nuanuan so badly back then. Ji Chen. There is a reason why Mu Changfeng likes Shu Yuqing. The couple are two of a kind. Mu Changfeng became even more smug. His wife is on his side. Ji Chen looked at his son, then thought of Nuan. In the end, he had no choice but to reluctantly accept the situation. Brother Changfeng, stop. Don't call me that. Don't call me that. When Ji Chen followed Mu Changfeng's request and called him Brother Changfeng in a coquettish voice, it made Changfeng feel so disgusted he wanted to vomit. All three of the younger ones were looking at Ji Chen. Ji Lai's gaze was complicated. He knew that Mu Changfeng was deliberately making things difficult for his father, in order to see his mother. His father accepted the situation and did as Uncle Changfeng demanded. She really called Changfeng brother in a coquettish voice. Yuqing stood up and walked out of the house. As soon as she stepped outside, she burst into laughter. If she hadn't come out, she was afraid she would have laughed herself to death inside the house. Qin Fan and his sister saw their mother come out, so they followed her. Mom. What the siblings didn't expect was that when they came out, they saw their mother laughing, covering her mouth with her hand. The siblings, Fan, yeah. Why did you come out? It's scorching hot outside. I just came out to get some fresh air. If I stayed inside any longer, I would have died laughing. As she spoke, Yuqing couldn't help but laugh again. Mu Changfeng had originally intended to play a mean trick on Ji Chen, but when Ji Chen actually did as he said, he felt that in trying to mess with Ji Chen, he was also messing with himself. Really, Ji Chen's call of Brother Changfeng could give him nightmares tonight, making him almost throw up the food from the previous day. Whoever said that men's bones go weak when they hear a sweet, coquettish voice, it's not pleasant at all. Ji Chen, I'm a man. The man spoke in a coquettish tone, which was effeminate, but he was a man full of masculine energy. Should I call out a few more times? Ji Chen noticed that Mu Changfeng was disgusted and asked him with a stern face. He had lost a lot of face in front of his son, however. It also allowed his son to see that for the sake of the mother and son, he was even willing to call Mu Changfeng brother. No need, if I hear you call me that a few more times, I'll throw up. Mu Changfeng quickly stood up and left. Ji Lai, if there's anything you need help with, just call Uncle Chang. For example, if you need to kick this man out, Uncle Chang will arrange for someone to come and throw him out for you. Ji Lai saw Mu Changfeng out of the house. Thank you, Uncle Changfeng. No need to see me off. Go back inside and start cooking. Your mom will be off work soon. As for that man, if you're in a good mood, give him half a bowl of rice. If not, let him go hungry. He spent 10 years looking for you all and didn't lose even 2 pounds. It's outrageous. He needs to shed a few pounds. Ji Chen, why did he have to become sworn enemies with Mu Changfeng back then? If he and Mu Changfeng had been good friends, he would have long since reconciled with Nuanuan and rekindled their past romance. Now it's fine. Mu Changfeng seized the opportunity to kick him while he was down. Mu Changfeng. Ji Chen was worried that Mu Changfeng wouldn't let Nuan get off work. Mu Changfeng turned to look at him and said, "Remember the promise you made. In the future, if I ever need your help, you must give your all to assist me for free. I, Ji Chen, always keep my word and never go back on it." Mu Changfeng chuckled a couple of times and walked away. Ji Chen didn't call out to stop him again. Mu Changfeng had taken the opportunity to mess with him. But he believed Mu Changfeng wouldn't really leave Nuan at the manor. This was a matter between him and Nuan. Mu Changfeng didn't have that much free time to meddle in others' affairs. Mu Changfeng left with his wife and children. Ji Chen stood at the door, watching the family of four depart. His eyes filled with envy. If he had fully trusted Nuan back then and stood firmly by her side, he and Nuan would surely have 2 children by now. Perhaps a son and a daughter. Now, although he has a son, the child hasn't yet acknowledged him, and what's more, Nuan hadn't forgiven him either. The 3 of them had no idea when they would ever be as warm and happy as Mu Changfeng's family of 4. Ji Lai waited until Mu Changfeng's family of 4 had gone far away, then turned and went back inside to continue preparing lunch for the mother and son. As for his father's lunch, when his father came, he first cooked rice in the electric rice cooker, enough for only 2 people and 1 dog. If he let his father eat it, Big Yellow would have nothing to eat. Big Yellow was closer to him, so he decided to let his father go hungry. After all, such a grown man should be too embarrassed to fight a dog for food, right? After Yuqing got into the car, she said to Mu Changfeng, "I thought you would seize the opportunity to give Ji Chen a hard time, if you want to deal with him. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. He wants to reconcile with Mother Ji, but it won't be that easy. He'll keep bothering us. Just you wait." Yuqing laughed and said, "Your way of dealing with Ji Chen is so childish, it made me laugh until my stomach hurt." Mu Changfeng also laughed. "Honey, I was also struggling to hold back my laughter." He even spat out his tea. God knows how much I cringed when I heard Ji Chen call me Brother Changfeng. Yuqing teased him. "Didn't you ask him to call you that? Did you think a man's coquettish voice would sound nice? A man's voice should be warm, deep, and magnetic to be pleasant." Mu Changfeng took these words to heart. From now on, he should speak to his wife with a gentle and intoxicating tone, charming her completely. However, Ji Chen has had a difficult 10 years. Not long after Nuan left him, he learned the truth and has been living in guilt and self-blame ever since. He spent 10 years searching for Ji Lai and his mother. He can be considered a man of deep affection. 10 years ago, he was still young, and the deeper the love, the more he cared and feared losing it. Yuqing looked at him. "What, do you feel sorry for him?" "Not at all. I don't feel the slightest bit of sympathy for him." "Who said that without fate, we wouldn't recognize each other?" "You were hinting to Ji Chen that the person he asked for directions yesterday was Nuan. Mu Changfeng explained for himself. "I didn't mean to remind Ji Chen when I said that, but it's true that I was hiding the answer. Now that Ji Chen has found Ji Lai, Nuan can no longer avoid it. What is meant to come will eventually come. Soon." Mu Changfeng's car drove into the villa. Getting out of the car, he saw the butler, Uncle Chang, and said to him, "Tell Madame Ji that Ji Lai's father has come looking for her. Let her be mentally prepared." Worried that I might get caught up in the flock, today's update is a bit late. I'll post 1 chapter first, and there's another one I haven't finished writing yet. You can check back tomorrow for the rest. Chapter 364. This is her in-laws' home. Uncle Chang was taken aback and asked, "Ji Lai's father? Didn't he divorce Ji Lai's mother? Why has he suddenly come looking for her?" Ji Lai's parents did not divorce, because they were never married in the first place, Uncle Chang instinctively asked. "No divorce. Ji Lai's mother said they were divorced, and that the other party had an affair." Mu Changfeng laughed and said, "That was a lie she told us. Ji Lai is actually the young master of the Ji family, and his mother is by Nuan, whom Ji Chen had been searching for 10 years, Uncle Chang." He really hadn't thought of that. "Young master, I understand." Uncle Chang looked at Yuqing, who was getting out of the car holding the child. "The young mistress already knows." Uncle Chang immediately left Mu Changfeng and walked over to Yuqing, greeting her respectfully. "Young mistress." Mu Changfeng. "Hello, Uncle Chang." Yuqing had originally wanted to ask Uncle Chang to call her by her name, But considering that Uncle Chang had worked at the Mu family villa for many years and had long developed the habit, no matter how much she insisted, Uncle Chang would not change his way of addressing her, so she decided not to say it. "Madam, the mistress is inside. She would be so happy to know you've returned." Yuqing smiled. "Uncle Chang, please go and inform Mother Ji. We'll go in first." "All right, madam, please go inside quickly. It's hot out here." Mu Changfeng had returned with his wife and children without informing his mother. Consider it a surprise for the elders at home. Yuqing, holding the hands of the two children, entered the main house accompanied by Ma Changfeng. She was well aware of the layout of the Mu family villa, however. The actual structure was even more impressive than the blueprints she had drawn. The Mu family was wealthy, and during the renovation, they used only the finest materials. Only a meticulously crafted estate can possess that antique charm. Last time, Ma Changfeng spent the day showing her around the mountain villa, but he didn't take her to see the areas where the owners lived. At that time, he was still concealing his identity. Yuqing was completely fooled by him. "Grandma, Grandma." Qin Fan and his sister called out as soon as they entered the house. Jiang Ruojuan and her husband had just entered the dining room, ready to have their meal. If Ji Chen were to see Jiang Ruojuan, he would realize that he had been deceived by the Mu family's security guard again. The lady of the house was clearly at home, yet they lied to him, saying she had gone back to her parents' home, describing it so vividly as if it were true. Even the great CEO Ji believed it, hearing Qin Fan's shouts. Jiang Ruojuan said to her husband, "Old Mu, I think I heard Fan Fan and Yaya shouting. They're calling for Grandma." "I heard it too." Hearing this, Jiang Ruojuan immediately came out of the dining room. "Grandma." Two small figures dashed up to her. "Grandma, we're back." The siblings had helped their father deceive their mother for so long, and it had been a while since they returned to their real home, so they missed it dearly. Now Dad doesn't have to lie to Mom anymore. And Mom has forgiven Dad. The little siblings are the happiest of all. No need to lie to Mom every day now. "It really is you, Changfeng. You came back without even calling first. I could have asked the kitchen to prepare a few more of Qingqing's favorite dishes." Jiang Ruojuan complained to her son. "It's not that I'm worried my son won't have a meal when he returns, but rather that I feel I didn't prepare a few of my daughter-in-law's favorite dishes in advance. Qingqing, look. My mom only cares about you and doesn't even consider what her own son likes to eat." Mu Changfeng deliberately put on a jealous expression. "In my family, my parents, grandparents, treat you better than they treat me." Mu Changfeng was left speechless. Qingqing, coming back to stay for a few days. Probably just for 3 to 5 days. The factory construction matter needs to be expedited. Yuqing is still thinking about developing her own career. Although Ma Changfeng wanted to fund her investment in building the factory, she declined. She had advanced the fruit payment from her brother-in-law and relied on her own investment to build the factory. Just 3 to 5 days, that's fine too. During these days, just tell me what you'd like to eat, and I'll have someone prepare it for you. Jiang Ruojuan hoped that her son and daughter-in-law would move back home to live. However, since her daughter-in-law's career was based near her own family, moving back would make commuting inconvenient. Jiang Ruojuan didn't voice her thoughts. She respects her son and daughter-in-law's choices. Young people have their own world. As a mother-in-law, she doesn't interfere in the affairs of the younger generation to avoid causing annoyance. "Wash your hands first and then eat," Jiang Ruojuan said with a smile. "Let's chat while we eat, just the two of us, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law." Mu Geng grumbled inwardly about his wife, thinking that with a daughter-in-law around, she could even do without her husband. Back then, he must have been blinded. Failing to see how much his wife adored Shu Yuqing, he couldn't help but vent his frustrations to a friend and even hinted to Fu Lingling to pursue his eldest son, which ended up angering his wife. He even caused his friend to face retaliation from his son. Mu Geng has now learned to be wise. When it comes to women's affairs, it's best for him not to interfere at all, especially those related to his daughter-in-law. If he dares to meddle, he will not only be resented by his son but also offend his wife. He isn't afraid of his son's anger, he is only afraid of his wife's anger. Well, back in his youth, it took him several years to win the beauty's heart. Mu Geng has been obedient to his wife for decades, and it has become a habit. A friend said he was henpecked, and he admitted it because he really is henpecked. On this side, the family is having lunch together, while over there, Nuanuan has just gotten off work. The apron she's wearing is covered in dirt. As she spent the whole morning busy in the greenhouse, she walked to the entrance of the villa and went out through the small gate. Sister Gu, the security guard quickly called out to stop her. Nuanuan stopped and asked with a smile, Xiao Ju, what's the matter, Aunt Gu? Uncle Chang asked me to tell you that, according to the young master, Gu Lai's father is looking for you, so you should be mentally prepared. Nuan was slightly taken aback for a moment, then quickly regained her composure. All right. I understand, thank you, Xiao Ju. Xiao Ju grinned sheepishly and said, Aunt Gu, Uncle Chang said that if you need any help, just let us know. For example, we can help you kick your ex-husband out. When Nuan first arrived, the lie she made up was believed by everyone. Now, upon hearing that Gu Lai's father had come, they thought he was here to fight Aunt Gu for custody of Gu Lai, which is why Uncle Chang gave such instructions. Nuan forced a smile and said, Thank you, I'll let everyone know if I need help. She thought Gu Chen was on his way to see her. Little did she know that Gu Chen was already waiting for her at her place. Nuan walked down the hill. While walking, she took off her apron, shook it vigorously, and then patted the dust off it with her hand. At the roadside by the foot of the mountain, she saw Gu Chen's car. Yesterday, when Gu Chen came over, he drove this car. Gu Chen wasn't in the car, nor was he at the entrance of the villa. Could it be that he had gone to her home? Thinking this way, Nuanuan felt a bit hesitant, unsure whether she should go home or not. If she went home and saw Gu Chen, how should she face him? He already knows about their son's existence. What will he do? Chapter 365, Forcing with Death. Nuan hesitated for just a moment before stepping forward. If she didn't go home, her son would be left alone to face Gu Chen. What if Gu Chen is unyielding and forcibly takes our son away, leaving me without even a chance to see him? What should I do then? What is meant to come will eventually come. Nuanuan slowly walked back home, as the distance closed. Her heart tightened with tension, his face was tense, appearing very cold and indifferent. Da Huang was the first to hear the familiar footsteps and ran out of the house to greet Nuanuan. It rushed up to Nuanuan, wagging its tail and shaking its head. Nuanuan patted its head, and it nuzzled her hand with its own. After a brief moment of playful chaos with one person and one dog, Nuanuan led Da Huang into the house. Just as they reached the door, Gu Chen came out from inside. The two of them stood face to face at the doorway, both halting in their tracks. Nuanuan's expression was icy, while Gu Chen looked agitated, his lips trembling as he softly called out, Nuanuan. It was his Nuan. She had gained a lot of weight, but her facial features hadn't changed. When he saw her yesterday, she was squatting down and avoiding his gaze. He didn't see her face, which is why he didn't recognize her. He even called her big sister. Every time Gu Chen remembered that he had seen Nuan but failed to recognize her, even calling her big sister, he felt like slapping himself twice. She was a few years younger than him, yet he called her big sister. How hurt she must have felt, in the heat of their romance. He told her he would be the tree that sheltered her from wind and rain, bringing her happiness. Who would have thought that the fierce winds and torrential rains that battered her were all brought by him? All her suffering was because of him. Nuanuan, Gu Chen murmured, reaching out a trembling hand to touch Nuanuan's face, but she slapped it away. Nuanuan walked straight past him and said coldly, Nuanuan has been tormented to death by you. There is no Nuanuan here. Da Huang, come in and close the door. Gu Chen turned around and grabbed her arm, pulling her back, not allowing her to close the door. Nuanuan struggled. In the struggle, both of them ended up inside the house. Gu Lai saw the cold indifference on his mother's face and her desperate attempts to break free from his father's grip. He stepped forward and forcefully pried open Gu Chen's hand. Then he pulled his mother behind him, shielding her, on his young face, which bore a striking resemblance to Nuanuan's. There was also a cold expression. He said coldly, Don't lay a hand on my mom. Gu Lai, could you step aside for a moment? Dad has something to say to your mom. Gu Chen. We have nothing to talk about. Nuanuan pointed at the door and said sharply, Get out right now. Nuanuan, I know I was wrong. I wrongly accused you back then. I let you down. I was a jerk. Ever since you left, I've regretted it. I regret it so much. How could I have treated you like that? Back then, after receiving those intimate photos, he didn't listen to Nuanuan's explanations, didn't believe her. No matter how she tried to explain, he wouldn't listen. Surrounded by anger and jealousy, he not only argued with Nuan but also locked her up. He even did beastly things to her, causing harm to both her body and mind. He is not human. He is a beast. I told you to get out right now. Ji Yuchen's apology stirred up Nuan's memories of the past, making her instantly agitated. She yelled at Ji Yuchen and even pushed him, trying to shove him out. Ji Yuchen had practiced martial arts, and he stood firmly, so Nuan couldn't push him out at all. Seeing this, Ji Yulai also stepped forward to help. The mother and son together could not manage to push the stubborn Ji Yuchen out of the house. Ji Yuchen even clung tightly to the doorframe, refusing to leave. He knew that once he was out, it would be as difficult as climbing to the sky to get back in. Nuan suddenly let go. Like a madwoman, she dashed into the kitchen and came out wielding a kitchen knife. Mom! Ji Yulai thought his mother was going to slash his father with the knife, but instead, Nuan held the cleaver to her own neck. Nuan, Mom! At this moment, both father and son were terrified. Ji Yulai was about to step forward to snatch the kitchen knife. Don't come any closer. Ji Yuchen, are you leaving or not? If you don't leave, I'll slash this knife and die right in front of you. Nuan held a kitchen knife to her own neck, screaming hoarsely at Ji Yuchen, her eyes red and tears glistening. Mom, don't be impulsive. Mom, be careful. The kitchen knife is very sharp. Don't hurt yourself for a man like this. Mom. Ji Yulai stared intently at the knife at his mother's neck, terrified that she might slash it across. So was Ji Yuchen. He was so nervous and scared that his whole body turned cold. Nuan. I'm leaving. I'll leave right away. You must not hurt yourself. Our son is right. Don't hurt yourself for a scoundrel like me. It's not worth it. I'm leaving. I'll get out right now. As he spoke, Ji Yuchen backed away, retreating from the room. After his father had left, Ji Yulai immediately closed the door and locked it. Mom, he's gone. Please put the knife down. Ji Yulai shouted. Nuan saw that Ji Yuchen had left and her son had locked the door. So she finally moved the knife away from her neck. With her other hand, she wiped away her tears and said to her son, Eli, take the knife inside. I'll take a bath before eating. I've been working in the greenhouse all morning and I'm all sweaty. Ji Yulai stepped forward and took the knife from his mother, still shaken as he said, Mom, please don't do this again. You scared me to death. Nuan smiled bitterly, tears welling up in her eyes again. If Mom didn't do that, he wouldn't have left. Don't worry, Mom won't abandon you. I'm going to take a shower now. Okay. Nuan turned and walked toward her room. Ji Yulai then took the kitchen knife back to the kitchen. From then on, he never sharpened the kitchen knife again. Just moments ago, he had truly been terrified. Ji Yuchen outside the door was also shaken. After a moment, hearing no movement inside, he quickly began knocking on the door. Ji Yulai, take the kitchen knife from your mother's neck. Don't let her hurt herself. Ji Yuchen shouted through the door. Ji Yulai did not respond to him. Receiving no response, Ji Yuchen leaned against the door, squinting as he tried to peer through the crack to see what was happening inside. I didn't see his warmth. The figure of the son is nowhere to be seen. Where have the mother and son gone? The figures of the mother and son are nowhere to be seen. The son must have taken the kitchen knife. Ji Yuchen breathed a slight sigh of relief. He didn't dare to knock on the door again and shout to be let in, so he crouched by the entrance, waiting for Nuan to cool off. Nuan went back to her room to get a set of clean clothes, entered the bathroom, left the door half open, leaned against the wall, covered her mouth, and cried. She didn't dare to cry out loud, afraid that her son would hear. Her son was mature for his age, and she didn't want him to worry about her. It's been 10 years. She met Ji Yuchen again. She thought she could face him calmly, but upon seeing Ji Yuchen and hearing his apology, she was reminded of the hurt he caused her 10 years ago. She couldn't face him calmly or with ease. Chapter 366, Stuffed Bitter Melon. Nuan cried in the bathroom for a few minutes. then grabbed a tissue to wipe away her tears. After crying and venting the humiliation in her heart, she felt a little better. After taking a shower, she felt even calmer, coming out of the bathroom. She put the clothes to be washed in a bucket to soak in water, planning to hand wash them after finishing her meal. She can afford a washing machine, but she hasn't bought one. With just the two of them, her son is independent. Since he became sensible, he has been washing his own clothes and no longer needs her help. So she saved the money on buying a washing machine. Mom, dinner is ready. Ji-Yu-Lai saw his mother come out, enter the kitchen, and bring out the prepared dishes. Placing them on the coffee table, the lunch for the mother and son consisted only of stir-fried green beans, stuffed bitter gourd and eggplant, and a bowl of steamed soup made with pigtail and pig kidney. Bai Nuanuan worked long hours every day, leaving early and returning late, although her job wasn't particularly hard. Perhaps because she didn't rest well after giving birth to Ji-Yu-Lai, she occasionally suffered from back pain. She had heard that steaming pigtail and pig kidney with a bit of wine to make soup could help strengthen the back and bones. Ji-Yu-Lai served his mother a bowl of pigtail soup. He didn't drink any of it, giving it all to his mother. When did he come? Bai Nuanuan glanced toward the door. Knowing Ji-Yu Chen hadn't left yet, after sitting down, she softly asked her son, "He's been here for a while. He went to the villa first, and he had just arrived when I came out to bring Mom the flower seedlings." Ji-Yu-Lai picked up a bite of green beans to eat. The green beans were picked by his father. "Did he follow you after he saw you?" Ji-Yu-Lai shook his head. "Probably not. He didn't pay much attention to me at the time. Uncle Changfeng must have said something, and he guessed it, so he found his way here." Bai Nuanuan hummed in agreement. She picked 2 pieces of pork tail from the bowl and gave them to her son. The soup had a lot of alcohol in it, so she didn't offer him any. Drinking the soup herself while letting her son have some meat, what is meant to come will come. When the young mistress asked me, I knew this day would arrive. Ji-Yu-Lai comforted his mother. "Mom, I won't go with him, and I won't let him bully you again. Don't worry." Nuanuan looked at her son for a long moment and said, "Lai, your mother will handle things with him. But no matter what, he is still your father, your biological father." Ji-Yu-Lai remained silent. Nuanuan knew her son's mind was also in turmoil, so she didn't say anything more. After the meal, Nuanuan went to wash her clothes. Ji-Yu-Lai cleared the dishes and went into the kitchen. He noticed there was still a bowl of rice in the rice cooker, which was for Da Huang. After thinking for a moment, he still took a bowl and scooped half a bowl of rice for his father outside the door. Then he picked up a lot of stuffed bitter melon. There wasn't much rice, so he let the man eat more bitter melon. As for the pigtail soup his mother was drinking, his father shouldn't even think about having any. After serving the food, Ji-Yu-Lai first peeked out to check on his mother, who was still washing clothes in the bathroom. Only then did he carry out 2 bowls, one for his father to eat and one for Da Huang. "Da Huang, time to eat," he called out to Da Huang. Da Huang immediately wagged his tail and followed Ji-Yu-Lai. Da Huang's dog bowl was placed under the eaves, so he needed to open the door to go outside. Ji-Yu Chen heard the sound of the door opening and immediately stood up, looking at his son with anticipation. "Ji-Yu-Lai, how is your mother doing?" Ji-Yu Chen was most worried that Nuanuan might do something foolish. He hated himself for treating Nuanuan that way back then, making Nuanuan unable to face him calmly even after 10 years, and still hating him. He is a jerk. He let Nuanuan down. He can accept it if Nuanuan hits him or scolds him, but Nuanuan must not hurt herself. He would rather have her come at him with a kitchen knife than watch that knife pressed against Nuanuan's neck. Ji-Yu-Lai said coldly, "As long as you stay far away from my mother, she will be just fine." He handed the bowl filled with stuffed bitter melon to Ji-Yu Chen, who instinctively reached out to take it. Then, she picked up the other half bowl of rice and walked over, pouring it into the dog bowl for Da Huang. Huang's lunch consisted of half a bowl of rice, a few bones, and some cooked pork skin. Huang is not picky about food and eats whatever is given to him. Ji-Yu-Lai and his mother keep Huang for guarding the house and yard, not as a pet dog. They have never bought dog food and instead feed Huang in the same way as rural people do. After feeding Huang, Ji-Yu-Lai went back into the house and closed the door again. Although Ji Chen wanted to enter the room, he was afraid of upsetting Nuan further and didn't dare to act recklessly again. He could only watch helplessly as his son went inside and closed the door. 2 minutes later, he looked down at the meal his son had brought out for him. He had even helped make the stuffed bitter melon. This was the fruit of their labor, something he and his son had made together. Ji Chen had never eaten stuffed bitter melon in his entire life. He scooped a large piece of stuffed bitter melon into his mouth, expecting it to taste delicious, but as he chewed, the first thing he tasted was an overwhelming bitterness. Bitter melon, oh bitter melon, it truly is bitter. A privileged man like President Ji, who had never tasted bitter melon before, found it almost unbearable to swallow, but this was something his son had given him. His son was full of disdain for him. If he didn't finish all these stuffed bitter melons, his son would surely look down on him even more, disdaining him for being unable to endure hardship and for being a grown man who still picks at his food. To save face in front of his son, President Ji forced himself to finish all the stuffed bitter melons in his bowl and even polished off the half bowl of rice. He remembered there were also stuffed eggplants and stir-fried green beans. Why didn't his son serve him some of those? It was all bitter melon, and he felt like throwing up after eating it. Ji Lai opened the door again half an hour later. He saw that the bowl in his father's hand was empty and, without saying a word, simply reached out his hand toward his father. Ji Chen quickly handed the empty bowl to him. Ji Lai, Dad finished it all. It was delicious. It's the first time Dad has eaten stuffed bitter melon. It's really delicious, Ji Lai said indifferently. Was it really that good? It really was delicious. This is the bitter melon we stuffed together, father and son. Of course it's delicious. Ji Lai said nothing more, turned around, and left. Not long after, she came out again carrying a bowl of stuffed bitter melon. There's no more rice. What you just ate was actually half of Da Huang's portion. But the stuffed bitter melon should fill you up. While my mom is upstairs hanging the laundry, eat quickly. I'll come out to collect the bowl after she takes her afternoon nap. After Ji Lai finished speaking, he went back into the house and closed the door again. Ji Chen looked at the large bowl of stuffed bitter melon, feeling utterly helpless and on the verge of tears. Why did he have to say it was delicious? Now, his son, concerned that he might still be hungry and not wanting him to go unfed, served him another large bowl of stuffed bitter melon. Just as Ji Chen was struggling to swallow the large bowl of stuffed bitter melon, his arch-rival, having eaten and drunk to his heart's content, actually strolled down the mountain again and came over to this very spot to mock him. When Ji Chen saw Mu Changfeng's handsome face with a smile, he really wanted to smash a bowl of stuffed bitter melon onto Mu Changfeng's face. Of course, he could only think about it now and didn't dare to actually do anything to Mu Changfeng. Ji Chen never dreamed that one day he would end up being disciplined by Mu Changfeng. Chapter 367, The Arch-Rival. Oh, there's still food to eat. That's really great, just great. Mu Changfeng looked at Ji Chen's large bowl of stuffed bitter melon, smiling as if he had struck a gold mine. Ji Chen kept a straight face. Young Master Mu really has a lot of free time. It seems like the Da Mu Group's business isn't doing well. About to go bankrupt, right? No, I'm extremely busy. Mu Changfeng wasn't angry either and chuckled. Even if the Jiu family business collapses, my Mu empire won't, though I'm swamped. I had to come and watch the show starring President Ji. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Ji Chen gritted his teeth. Since young Master Mu is enjoying the show, don't forget to pay for the ticket. Fine. Considering how pitiful President Ji looks, I'll buy a ticket. Mu Changfeng actually took out his wallet, rummaged through it, and finally pulled out a 5 yuan note with a look of regret, handing it to Ji Chen. He added, I was thinking of giving you 10 cents, but unfortunately, I couldn't find a single dime no matter how hard I searched. Here, take $5. Remember to give me $4.90 back. Ji Chen. He forcefully snatched the $5, Mu Changfeng's money. Might as well take it since it's offered. Remember to give me $4.90 back. Ji Chen said with displeasure, I'm playing my true self, and you're only giving me 10 cents, Mu Changfeng. This is the first time I've realized how stingy you are. You're so generous. Why don't I see you offering me anything for free? Ji Chen, what's wrong? Is the stuffed bitter melon not tasty? Why aren't you eating? If you don't want it, I'll call Jiu Lai to take it back. Jiu Lai, your dad thinks, annoyed. Jiu Chen picked up a piece of stuffed bitter melon and stuffed it into Mu Changfeng's mouth, successfully silencing his shouts. Mu Changfeng immediately spat out the stuffed bitter melon. He recognized the dish, but he didn't like bitter melon either. At his mother-in-law's house, he occasionally had this dish. Every time, he didn't dare to reach out with his chopsticks to pick it up and eat. His mother-in-law was a perceptive person. She knew he didn't like stuffed bitter melon. So every time they had bitter melon, she would stir-fry a separate plate of vegetables for him. Jiu Lai came out. Uncle Changfeng, you called me. Jiu Lai, your dad, he ate it. Just now, I saw your dad holding that bowl of stuffed bitter melon with a look on his face like he was about to eat something disgusting. I wanted to call you out to take it back, but now that he's eaten it, it wasn't wasted. It's fine. You can go back to your nap. Uncle Changfeng will keep an eye on you, making sure your dad finishes it all, down to the last drop of soup. Jiu Chen said to his son while eating. Jiu Lai, don't listen to his nonsense. This is something you brought for me. No matter how bitter it is, I'll finish it. I can't bear to waste it. As he spoke, he ate the stuffed bitter melon in big mouthfuls. I'm silently thinking, I'm eating Mu Changfeng's flesh. I'm eating Mu Changfeng's flesh, using the power of thought to eliminate the bitterness of the bitter melon. Jiu Chen finally finished a large bowl of stuffed bitter melon, bitter and full. Jiu Lai waited for him to finish eating, took the empty bowl back into the house, and before closing the door, politely asked Mu Changfeng, Uncle Changfeng, would you like to come in and sit for a while? No need. Uncle Changfeng is taking a walk after the meal and is about to go back for a nap. Jiu Lai, close the door, and remember to lock it to prevent anyone from trying to sneak in. Mu Changfeng, who are you calling a thief? I didn't name names, but you're so quick to jump to conclusions. That makes you the thief. You. Jiu Chen was half dead with anger from his rival. Jiu Lai closed the door and actually locked it from the inside. Mu Changfeng found it too hot outside and couldn't be bothered to watch the drama any longer. Before leaving, he exclaimed, wow, summer in Guangzhou is really hot. It's already afternoon, but the sun is still like a fireball, scorching to death. I'm going back to enjoy the air conditioning. President Jiu, you can take your time sunbathing. If you get heat stroke and faint here, maybe your Nuan will soften her heart and drag you inside. Jiu Chen, that's actually a good idea, but he was afraid that if he got heat stroke and fainted, Nuan would take their son and run far away, making it impossible for him to find them again. That would be a loss he couldn't afford. Mu Changfeng always gives him such terrible advice. He wasn't going to listen to Mu Changfeng. Mu Changfeng left. It was just too hot outside. Although watching Jiu Chen's performance was quite enjoyable, the heat was unbearable. Back at the villa, his wife was sound asleep in the air-conditioned room. Mu Changfeng tiptoed onto his wife's bed, leaned in, and gently kissed Yu Qing on the cheek, and whispered softly, Qing, thank you for being willing to understand me, so I don't have to chase my wife through a crematorium like Jiu Chen. Ah, Jiu Chen. The road to winning back his wife is long and arduous. Not to mention the hurt he caused by Nuan 10 years ago. Just dealing with Mrs. Jiu is already a tough hurdle to overcome. Right now, Jiu Chen probably has no mind to focus on company matters, making it the perfect time to snatch some business. Mu Changfeng decided to take advantage of Jiu Chen's pursuit of his wife to snatch the projects that Jiu Chen was currently negotiating. Jiu Chen, I offered to give them to you before, but you refused. Mu Changfeng, I just prefer to take them by my own ability, proving that you're not as good as me. Jiu Chen, Seaview Villa area, in such hot weather, and you doesn't like going out either. Since that day I went to Shu Yuqing's orchard, after coming back, she just met Shuang Sini and then stayed in the villa without stepping out. She guessed that because she went to find Shu Yuqing, Mu Changfeng must be very angry. She wanted to wait until Mu Changfeng's anger subsided a bit before going to see him, and also to take a good look at her twin children. That day, she only had a hurried glance. The two children looked so much like their father. At this moment, Anu sat by the window, looking at the blue sky and white clouds outside, and found it quite beautiful, so she took a photo of the scene with her phone. Just then, the sound of someone coming up the stairs could be heard from outside. She was familiar with that sound of footsteps. She didn't even need to step outside to know that the person coming upstairs was Qin Wentian. A few minutes later, Qin Wentian pushed the door open and entered. Like a gust of wind, he swept to Anua's side, roughly grabbing her wrist and pulling her up from the lounge chair. With a dark expression, he demanded sharply, "Anua, what did you say to Mu Changfeng?" Anua shook off his hand, straightened her dress, and lay back down on the lounge chair. "What did I say to Changfeng? I said nothing." She sat up straight again, glancing sideways at Qin Wentian. "My face is as dark as charcoal. What happened? I did go to see Changfeng, but I really didn't say anything. I'm not stupid." She was still thinking about breaking up Xu Yuqing and Mu Changfeng so she could marry Mu Changfeng. That way, she and the two children would be reunited. Mu Changfeng would still be their father, and she would be the mother of the two children. "I was knocked unconscious." Qin Wentian suddenly said something. "And you, really?" Qin Wentian looked at her expression, which seemed very happy, and he angrily pinched Anu's cheek. Anu even more angrily slapped his hand away. Chapter 368. Who is the real father of the child? "You're asking for death, pinching me so hard, and on my face no less. I still need this face to charm Changfeng." Qin Wentian snorted coldly twice. He walked over to Anu, suddenly adopting a Mount Tai crushing top posture. Pressing his entire body into the recliner and pinning Anu beneath him, Anu pushed him. He then grabbed Anu's hands and pinned them above her head on either side. Then, without a care, he covered Anu's face and lips with countless kisses. If Anu hadn't bitten him, causing him pain, he would have taken her on the lounge chair. When he let go of her in pain, Anua pushed him away with all her might, sending him crashing into the window before he fell to the floor. "Qin Wentian, I'm warning you, if you dare lay a hand on me again, I'd rather not marry Changfeng and expose everything you've done to me, ruining your reputation and making your wife and children leave you. You act like a devoted husband in public, building the image of a doting spouse, but behind the scenes, you've done things that betray your wife and your brother. Qin Wentian, you're nothing but a beast." Qin Wentian stood up and suddenly closed in, grabbing Anua by the chin. He said menacingly, "If you dare let my wife know, I'll kill you." He truly dotes on his wife. But he did indeed betray her by having an affair with Anu. That's because Anu is the woman his younger brother loves most. He is jealous of his brother. Whatever my younger brother cares about, he wants to take it all. Seeing his younger brother in pain brings him immense satisfaction, all because our parents favor the younger brother. As the eldest son, he couldn't accept that our parents intended to hand over the Qin group to his younger brother. "I refuse to accept this. And you? Who told you to be Tianyu's most beloved woman? If you want to hate someone, hate Tianyu." Anu pushed him away again. "Beast." Qin Wentian laughed heartily. "Yes, I am a beast. Anu, let me tell you, I was knocked unconscious. And when I woke up, I felt a bit dizzy. There are needle marks on my arm, and I suspect someone knocked me out and drew my blood, and they drew quite a lot of blood. Otherwise, a grown man like him wouldn't feel a bit dizzy." Anu chuckled twice. "Serves him right. If she knew who had knocked Qin Wentian out and drawn his blood, she would definitely make sure they drained Qin Wentian dry. I suspect it was Mu Changfeng's doing. I always have bodyguards with me when I go out. Yet I still got attacked. Who else could have done it so stealthily if not someone from Mu Changfeng's side?" Qin Wentian calmly analyzed. "Mu Changfeng had someone knock me out and draw my blood. What do you think he's trying to do?" Anu wasn't foolish. She snapped out of her schadenfreude, and her face instantly turned pale. "Mu Changfeng wants to use your blood to conduct a paternity test with the two children." Qin Wentian reached out and touched Anu's face. "Anu, you're actually quite clever. After Tianyu passed away, he was cremated and has been buried for over 4 years. Mu Changfeng and Tianyu grew up together. He cherishes old friendships and is a man of deep loyalty. He wouldn't disturb Tianyu's spirit in the afterlife. Even if he were to dig up Tianyu's grave, it would be useless. Ashes can't be used for a paternity test. Since he suspects the two children, he would think of me, drawing my blood to test with the children. If, Anu, tell me, are Qin Fan and Qin Yu my children or Tianyu's?" Qin Wentian actually didn't know whether the two children were his or his brother's. Anu said with a pale face, "I don't know either. Before you were with me, Tianyu and I had just been together, only a day apart. I don't know if the children are Tianyu's or yours. The two brothers look quite similar. She was startled when she saw her daughter, Chinyu. Chinyu resembles her deceased husband the most. Which also means she resembles Qin Wentian the most. Qin Wentian remained silent. Judging by Anyu's reaction, she probably wouldn't say anything to Mu Changfeng. So, if Mu Changfeng acted this way, did he have evidence that Qin Wentian was unaware of, after the children were born? Anyu never dared to conduct paternity tests for the two children and Tianyu. She is afraid that the two children are Qin Wentian's. I don't know where Mu Changfeng went to get the paternity test done. I have to find a way to change the results. I can't let the biological father of the two children be me. Qin Wentian thought of Qin Yu's little face, which resembled his own, and didn't say anything more. If the child is his, he doesn't know what to do either. After Mu Changfeng finds out the child is his, will he still raise the two children? Because of Chen Yu's death, his and his family's attitude made Mu Changfeng very angry, and he has already cut off contact with the Qin family. Mu Changfeng now detests him. If the child were his own, Mu Changfeng probably wouldn't keep him. If he were to send the child back, he could afford to raise him. But what would his wife at home think if she found out? And you, if the child is mine, and Mu Changfeng refuses to keep the two children after finding out? You should go and claim custody. You are the biological mother, so no one can say anything if you take the children to raise. Don't worry. I will give you a large sum of money to ensure a comfortable life for you and the two children. Tianyu's assets are in my parents' hands, and they manage them personally. I can't get them, but I can persuade my parents to hand over all of Tianyu's assets to you, as long as you peacefully raise the two children. That's all that matters. Qin Wentian felt this arrangement was the best. No matter who the biological father of the two children is, their biological mother is Anyu. Letting Anyu take back the two children and raise them by her side is the most suitable arrangement. Anyu paced back and forth in the room. She didn't want things to turn out the way Qin Wentian had said. She did want to live with the two children, but that was based on being with Mu Changfeng. Go find out where Changfeng had the paternity test done and see if you can change the results. As long as it shows you're not the biological father of the two children, that will be enough. Qin Wentian said, I will try to find out and do my best to change the outcome, but I can't guarantee success. Think about it. Who is Mu Changfeng's right-hand man? It's Ouyang Wei. The Ouyang family is the one Qin Wentian fears. If I can change the outcome, I will. If I can't, then do as I said. Even if you raise our two children and want to pursue Mu Changfeng, I won't stop you. Qin Wentian would never marry Anyu. He has a good relationship with his wife. But he has betrayed her and feels guilty about it. The only way he can ease his conscience is by giving her more affection. Asking him to divorce his wife and marry Anyu is absolutely impossible. Therefore, if Anyu wants to pursue Changfeng and marry into the Mu family as the eldest daughter-in-law, Qin Wentian lets her do as she pleases. As long as she has the ability to do so, Mu Changfeng is married. That Xu Yuqing is actually Mu Changfeng's wife. This is something many people didn't expect. And Qin Wentian didn't expect it either. After learning this news, he specifically went to inquire about Xu Yuqing. She's a very ordinary girl, so how did she catch Mu Changfeng's eye and marry him so easily? Chapter 369, Mad with Jealousy. Qin Wentian, can you help me get Xu Yuqing killed? Anyu suddenly asked Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian looked at her for a long moment, then chuckled and said, What, don't you believe in yourself? Don't dare to pursue Mu Changfeng on your own merit. If you can't win Mu Changfeng's heart, it's useless even if I kill 10 Xu Yuqings. Besides, why should I help you kill Xu Yuqing? So many people are watching her. If I kill her, I'd be asking for trouble. You're just trying to kill two birds with one stone. And I'm not that stupid. You like Mu Changfeng and want to marry him. That's your business. My brother has been dead for over 4 years, and no one would blame you for remarrying. But if you want me to help you kill Xu Yuqing, that's impossible. Just kidding. Is Xu Yuqing someone you can kill now? The fact that she is the eldest daughter-in-law of the Mu family is becoming known to more and more people. If he kills Xu Yuqing, he will have to pay with his life, and in the end, he won't survive either. Anyu wants to kill two birds with one stone. No way, I'm leaving. Qin Wentian knew that it wasn't An Yu who had mentioned the child's matter to Mu Changfeng. He didn't want to stay long, afraid of being discovered and having the news reach his wife, causing misunderstandings. An Yu sat there motionless, allowing Qin Wentian to come and go as he pleased. After sitting for a while, An Yu stood up, walked to the dressing room, picked out a set of clothes, changed into them, applied light makeup, and looked at herself in the mirror. Feeling that she was still the beautiful An Yu, she called Zhuang Xini. After Zhuang Xini answered the phone, she said, "Come out for a coffee, my treat, let's meet at Starbucks." Zhuang Xini was in a bad mood, but since An Yu invited her, she agreed to go out. After arranging to meet Zhuang Xini, An Yu picked up her bag, went downstairs, and soon drove away from the seaside villa. On the other side, Zhuang Xini also changed her clothes and came downstairs. "Xini, young Master Zhao is here, Mrs." Zhuang happened to bring young Master Zhao into the room. Young Master Zhao was carrying a bag, and inside the bag was a new phone. It was the latest model of a certain brand, Brother Cheng. Zhuang Xini didn't ignore fourth young Master Zhao as she used to. Instead, she walked over with a smile. "Brother Cheng, you're here. I went to look for you the other day, but you weren't there." Fourth young Master Zhao handed her the bag. "You said your phone was broken, so I bought you a new one. If there's nothing else, I'll be going now." After saying that, young Master Zhao turned and left. Zhuang Xini had just taken the bag and hadn't even looked at the new phone yet. Upon hearing young Master Zhao's words, she froze for a moment before quickly reacting and rushing out after him. "Mrs." Zhuang did not follow them out, only letting out a heavy sigh. Although young Master Zhao had still given her daughter a new phone, his attitude was no longer the same as before. "Mrs." Zhuang knew it was the result of her daughter's actions. She had advised her daughter countless times, but her daughter never listened, always dreaming of marrying Mu Changfeng. Who knew Mu Changfeng would marry Xu Yuqing, leaving her daughter both furious and insanely jealous. If even fourth young Master Zhao were to leave her daughter, "Mrs." Zhuang sighed again. If that really happened, it would be her daughter's own fault. "Cheng Ji." Zhuang Xini stopped fourth young Master Zhao at her doorstep. "Cheng Ji, what do you mean by this? Are you that impatient with me? Didn't you say you loved me and liked me a lot, just because I've been arguing with you about the hot search for so long? You're angry with me." Zhuang Xini was very dissatisfied that fourth young Master Zhao had come over and was about to leave without even sitting down for a moment. She was used to being pampered by fourth young Master Zhao, doted on and indulged by him. Fourth young Master Zhao silently removed Zhuang Xini's hand from his arm and said calmly, "Xini, I'm very busy right now." With that, he prepared to leave again. "Zhao Pengcheng." Zhuang Xini called him by his full name. Zhao, the fourth young master, turned his head to look at her. "Brother Cheng, are you avoiding me? You're angry with me, aren't you? You just don't want to talk to me anymore, is that it?" Zhao Sishao pursed his lips and retorted, "Can't I be angry? That trending topic incident clearly wasn't my doing, yet you pinned all the blame on me. I tried to explain, but you wouldn't listen. In your eyes and in your heart, there's only Mu Changfeng. What am I, Zhao Pengcheng, in your eyes? You summon me when you need me and dismiss me when you don't. Xini, I like you, and I've always indulged you and spoiled you. Whenever you asked me to do something for you, I did it, in the end. What did I get? I got you thinking I owe you, that I should help you with everything, including helping you chase after Mu Changfeng. Right, Xini, I'm human, a normal man. What man would willingly help the woman he likes pursue another man? Did you ever care about me when I was sick? You only think of me when you need something or want to buy something. Xini, I feel disheartened too. Xu Yuqing once scolded me with a phrase that was spot on. She called me your simp, and honestly, she described it perfectly. I turned myself into your simp, and you treated me like one too, Zhuang Xini said irritably. Xu Yuqing is just jealous of me, that's why she deliberately called you a simp. Brother Cheng, I've never thought of you as a dog. Does Xu Yuqing even need to be jealous of you? It's you who's jealous of her. Zhuang Xini's face changed dramatically. Yes, she was jealous of Xu Yuqing. She was so jealous that she was going crazy. It took her 2 days to accept the reality. Xu Yuqing has truly become the eldest daughter-in-law of the Mu family. She didn't know what to do, and neither did her father. Her father could only comfort her by saying that the incident from 5 years ago wouldn't be easy to find evidence for. Unless Shen Jiao had secretly kept some evidence, otherwise even Xu Yuqing wouldn't be able to find any proof. Shen Jiao, just like her, is someone who can't stand to see Xu Yuqing doing well. She believes Shen Jiao won't betray her. However, her parents advised her not to provoke Xu Yuqing again in the future, as Xu Yuqing is no longer someone she can afford to mess with. Then, her parents once again urged her to cherish fourth young Master Zhao. If she misses out on fourth young Master Zhao, she will surely regret it in the future. Where can she find a man like fourth young Master Zhao, who is wholeheartedly devoted to her? Don't mention Xu Yuqing to me. That wretched woman must have used some trick to marry Mu Changfeng. She's so ugly, she isn't even worthy of polishing his shoes. Just wait, Mu Changfeng's first love is coming back, and he will definitely abandon Xu Yuqing. Xu Yuqing isn't ugly at all, far from it, she's actually very pleasant to look at. Zhao Xishao suddenly stopped speaking. Xu Yuqing did not possess the stunning beauty of Zhuang Xini or An Yu. Her beauty was more understated, and only those who knew how to appreciate her would find her truly beautiful. Brother Cheng, you actually praised Xu Yuqing. Could it be that you've also been charmed by that wretched woman? No wonder you've been so distant with me lately. Chapter 370, Fourth Young Master Zhao's Condition. Fourth Young Master Zhao said with a dark expression. Xini, is this how you see my feelings for you? Do you think I could easily fall in love with another woman? I was just telling the truth. Xu Yuqing isn't ugly, she's the kind of person who grows on you. Just because you're jealous of her, I can't say she's as ugly as Wu Yan, can I? I didn't want to say more because I was afraid you'd misunderstand. See, you really misunderstood me. He and Xu Yuqing have a huge grudge between them. How could he possibly like Xu Yuqing? By the way, Xu Yuqing rear-ended his car, and he still hasn't asked her for the repair costs. Someday, when he has time, he'll go to Xu Yuqing's orchard to ask her for the car repair fees. Brother Cheng, Zhuang Xini suddenly buried herself in young Master Zhao's arms, tightly wrapping her arms around his waist. Cheng, I'm sorry. I was really scared just now, afraid that you would also be captivated by Xu Yuqing. What's so great about her that she could actually marry Mu Changfeng? I just don't understand. She went back to her hometown to grow fruit, yet she still managed to marry Mu Changfeng. Cheng, I'm also afraid that what I did to Xu Yuqing will come to light. If that happens, my reputation will be ruined, and I'll lose everything. Cheng, can you help me? Can you find a way to make Mu Changfeng and Xu Yuqing divorce? Zhao Pengcheng had fantasized countless times about the day when Zhuang Xini would throw herself into his arms and tell him she loved him, but now, as Zhuang Xini actually threw herself into his arms, he found himself not overjoyed at all. His eager heart, after hearing the words she spoke, gradually grew cold once again. She still saw him as nothing more than a pawn, still using him. I help you. How will you repay me? Zhao Xishao gently pushed Zhuang Xini aside, looked down at her, and asked, I've helped you so much, shouldn't you repay me in some way? Zhuang Xini said with an awkward smile, Brother Cheng, you lack nothing. What could I possibly repay you with? I need a woman. If you want me to help you, fine, but you have to move in with me, and I mean share the same bed. Zhao Xishao made his demand. Zhuang Xini still refused to give up on Mu Changfeng and wanted to use him to ruin Mu Changfeng and Xu Yuqing's marriage. He was determined to make sure Zhuang Xini would never have the chance to covet Mu Changfeng again. He wanted to make Zhuang Xini his woman. Zhuang Xini, Brother Cheng, how can this be? Young Master Zhao sneered. Why can't it be, Brother Cheng? Change your condition. I promise I'll agree to it. Young Master Zhao chuckled twice. Alright, if you don't want to move in with me, that's fine too. If you prefer staying in a hotel, that's also acceptable. Just sleep with me 4 times a week from now on. And I'll help you with this. Zhuang Xini's face flushed bright red as she shoved Zhao fourth young master away fiercely. Zhao Pengcheng, how could you become like this? In my eyes, you've always been a gentleman who respects women, but now, what do you take me for? Didn't you say that aside from the request to live with me, you could agree to any other request I made? Zhuang Xini, Zhao fourth young master suddenly grabbed Zhuang Xini by the waist, pulling her close. His face drew near hers as he enunciated each word clearly. Zhuang Xini, if you still want my help, then trade it with your body. I was also in the know about what happened 5 years ago. After saying this, Zhao Xishao ignored Zhuang Xini's pale face and released her. If I can't have you, I'll destroy you. He left behind a heartless remark, turned around, and strode toward his car. Soon, he drove away in his car. Zhao Pengcheng, fourth young master Zhao, brother Cheng, Zhuang Sini called out several times and even chased after him for more than 10 meters. But fourth young master Zhao did not stop the car. He was never a good person to begin with, because he liked Zhuang Sini. His gentleness and tolerance were given to her. But Zhuang Sini repeatedly broke his heart, making him realize more and more that in this lifetime, she would never love him, even if her attitude toward him has improved a lot now. It's only because she knows there's no hope of marrying Mu Changfeng. Since Zhuang Sini could never love him in this lifetime, he would ruin her, even if Zhuang Sini were willing to live with him. It would only be a cohabitation relationship. Zhao the fourth young master no longer wanted to marry Zhuang Sini. When he respected her, she didn't know how to cherish it. Now, let her taste what it feels like to be disrespected by him. She brought it on herself. Zhuang Sini stopped and watched Zhao Xixiao's car driving away, feeling angry, resentful, and fearful. Whenever she had any trouble, she would turn to Zhao Xixiao for help, and he knew all her secrets. If he really wanted to ruin her, it would be very easy. Zhao Pengcheng, you are too cruel, Zhuang Sini cursed. What should she do? Could it be that she really has to move in and live with fourth young master Zhao? After scolding young master Zhao Sai a few times, Zhuang Sini decided to go to Starbucks to meet a new first, Mujia Villa, in the flower room. Yu Qing watched by Nuanuan taking care of the flower seedlings. Jiyu Lai was also helping his mother with chores, but more often, he was playing with Qin Fan and Qin Yu. The siblings, at the entrance of the villa, a man was squatting there. There was no need to ask, it was Jiyu Chen, the great CEO. In the afternoon, Bai Nuan took her son to work with her, and Jiyu Chen followed the mother and son like a shadow. The people of the Mu family villa learned that Jiyu Lai was actually the illegitimate son of the great CEO Jiyu, the usually quiet and reserved Jiyu mom, who focused on her work and rarely chatted with others. Turned out to be the renowned makeup artist Bai Nuan, who had disappeared just as she was gaining fame 10 years ago. The gates of the Mu family villa would not open for Jiyu Chen. Even if Jiyu Chen followed the mother and son up the mountain, he couldn't enter the villa. He could only squat at the entrance of the villa. Bai Nuan simply ignored him. If he dared to approach Bai Nuan, she would immediately pull out a fruit knife with its sheath from her pocket, unsheath it, and press it against her neck. Jiyu Chen would then immediately retreat 10 meters away. Miss Bai, Yu Qing spoke. Bai Nuan stood up and looked at Yu Qing. What's the matter, madam? President Jiyu has found you and your child. What are your plans? If you wish to avoid him, I can speak with Changfeng to arrange accommodation for you and your child at the villa. That way, you won't have to leave the estate and face President Gu's persistent advances. Jiyu Chen, Shu Yuqing, you truly live up to being Mu Changfeng's wife, just as ruthless at heart. Bai Nuan remained silent for a moment. After thinking for a long time, she finally said, to be honest, madam, I don't know either. I haven't made up my mind yet. She looked at her son again. Seeing her son playing with Fan and his siblings, she said softly, I've thought about it. If Jiyu Chen wants to fight for custody of A Lai, I would advise A Lai to go with his father. It's impossible for Jiyu Chen and me to be together again. I can't forget how he treated me back then. He said he knows he was wrong. He apologized to me. But can a simple I'm sorry heal the wounds I've suffered? Bai Nuan could not simply act as if nothing had happened and reconcile with Jiyu Chen. Chapter 371. The young couple in the villa. Yu Qing said, no matter what decision you make, we will support you. If you need help, just say so. Jiyu Lai and the two children are good friends. And I also see you as a friend. Friends help each other. Nuan smiled and said, thank you, madam, it's really nice to know you. We are fated to meet. Yu Qing also smiled. If Mr. Jiyu hadn't mistaken me for you, we wouldn't have met. You don't need to force yourself to gain weight anymore. We women should still take good care of ourselves. To have been on Jiyu Chen's mind for 10 years, Nuan must have been a great beauty in the past. Now that Nuan has gained some weight and goes makeup free, she has a different kind of beauty. If I need help, I will definitely ask the young mistress. Yes, no need to be polite with me. Bai Nuan saw Mu Changfeng walking over and said to Yu Qing, The young master is here. Yuqing had her back to the greenhouse entrance and couldn't see Muchangfeng. Upon hearing Nuan's words, she turned around to look outside and indeed saw Muchangfeng approaching. Miss Bai, I'll be leaving first. The two children enjoy playing with Jiu Lai, so let them stay here for a while. Bai Nuan responded, if Fan and Yaya want to go back inside, I'll have Jiu Lai take them home. Yuqing had great faith in the mother and son pair. Jiu Lai's doting affection for the two children was so obvious that even a blind person could see it. She had no need to worry. Without calling out to the two children, Yuqing walked alone toward Mu Changfeng. Mu Changfeng smiled and reached out his hand to her. Call me husband. I love hearing you call me that. It's just a term of endearment, dear. Yuqing still called him dear as he wished. Mo Kangfeng took her hand and asked, where are the two little ones? They're playing with Guli and having a great time. They probably don't even remember us anymore. Mu Changfeng laughed and said, they really enjoy playing with Jiu Lai. Out of so many children, only Jiu Lai has caught their eye, but that kid Jiu Lai is genuinely great. I'm so envious of Jiu Chen for having such an outstanding son. He held Yuqing's hand as they strolled leisurely around the estate, without the two children following them. It felt like a date for the couple. I've heard that a child's intelligence is often inherited from the mother. Jiu Lai is so outstanding because Nuan has good genes and has raised him so well, Mu Changfeng said, but Jiu Lai is still Jiu Chen's biological son. I'm still very envious of him. When you envy him, he also envies you. Mu Changfeng let go of her hand, instead wrapping his arm around her shoulder, and even stole a moment to plant a kiss on her cheek. That's right, right now, Jiu Chen must envy no one more than me. Mu Changfeng, I have a lovely wife by my side, a son and a daughter. My marriage is in my own hands, and my family adores you. We don't have to go through the kind of forced separation that Jiu Chen suffered. Yuqing laughed. Look at how smug you are. If President Jiu saw this, he'd be so jealous he'd go crazy. Let him be envious, jealous, and resentful. Childish fool. Mu Changfeng wasn't angry at being called a childish fool by his wife. He laughed and said, I've been competing with Jiu Chen for so many years. Although I haven't lost, winning has been a struggle. The reason I could win is because the Mu family is prosperous, our family is harmonious, and Ouyang Wei has been helping me. Now that Jiu Chen is finally about to bow his head to me, if I don't mock him a few times, I'll feel uncomfortable all over. This opportunity is just too rare. Ha ha ha. Yuqing was amused by him and laughed along, lightly pinching his arm as she chuckled. You're just gloating, but honestly, seeing Jiu Chen like that makes me happy too. Maybe neither of us are good people, we just enjoy watching Jiu Chen suffer in his pursuit of his wife. Honey, Jiu Chen's suffering in his pursuit is because he wronged Nuan in the past. It has nothing to do with whether we're good people or not, but it's true that we're not saints. I'm definitely no saint. After laughing, Yuqing leaned her head on Mu Changfeng's shoulder and said, Jiu Chen hurt Nuan so much before, he deserves to suffer a bit more, but from the looks of it, I don't think Nuan will marry him. Whether they can reconcile is still an unknown. The two still have feelings for each other and have not forgotten one another. Although Nuan harbors resentment and anger in her heart, she still let her son take Jiu Chen's surname, indicating that she still has affection for him. It's just that she was deeply hurt. And she and Jiu Chen may not be able to become a couple. They might maintain a relationship similar to that of friends. Mrs. Jiu is not an easy person to get past. After meeting a noblewoman like Mrs. Jiu, Yuqing felt as if she had struck gold and fallen into a honeypot. Her in-laws treated her exceptionally well. The elders doted on her as if she were their own daughter. Her peers all respect her as the eldest sister-in-law, and no one has ever looked down on her for her rural background. Although the Mu family holds a higher status and is wealthier than the Jiu family, the elders of the Mu family truly refrain from interfering in their children's marriages. As the elderly lady said, children and grandchildren have their own blessings, and she does not interfere in their affairs, allowing them to follow their own paths. Changfeng, I feel so happy and so lucky. Mu Changfeng smiled dotingly. And then, I'll just keep being happy, Yuqing said. Pushing up her glasses and looking at Mu Changfeng, isn't that right? Mu Changfeng reached out and took off her glasses. What are you doing? Taking my glasses away. Everything looks blurry to me. You're standing right in front of me, and I can't even see your handsome face clearly." Mu Changfeng gently pushed her against a tree. Letting her lean back against it, he tucked her glasses into his pants pocket, then placed his hands on either side of her head, leaning in close with a smile in his dark eyes. "Honey, if I come a little closer, can you see my face clearly now? It's so close, I'm sure I can see it clearly. Then, when you kiss me, you won't accidentally kiss my nose, will you, Yuqing? I can still tell the difference between your mouth and your nose." Mu Changfeng smiled. Waiting for Yuqing to lean in and kiss him, Yuqing blinked. He pushed her against a tree and trapped her between the tree and himself. Didn't he want to kiss her? Why does she have to take the initiative? Since he's making her take the initiative, she'll just switch roles with him. Yuqing crouched down, slipped under Ma Changfeng's arm, then turned his body around and gave him a push, causing him to lean back against the tree trunk. She stepped closer, wrapped her arms around his neck, pulled his head down, and, rising slightly on her toes, pressed her lips to his warm ones. She deliberately teased Mu Changfeng, and he couldn't resist her allure. Turning from passive to active, the couple hid behind the tree, kissing passionately several times until Yuqing covered his mouth and coquettishly said, "I don't want to turn into a sausage." Only then did Mu Changfeng stop. Yuqing looked around again. No one saw us, right? Teased by him, she let herself go along with it. "I hope no one sees this, it's kind of embarrassing." Chapter 372, The Call from Young Master Zhao. "What if they do see? We're husband and wife." Yuqing pouted. "I'm just worried that if the kids see, it won't be good." Mu Changfeng took her hand again, leading her out from behind the tree and continuing to walk forward. As they walked, he said, "Fan Fan and Yaya are being watched by Jiu Lai, so they won't come to see the two of us being affectionate. I don't care, from now on. You can't be this bold when we're outside." Mu Changfeng chuckled softly. "So when we're back in the room, I can be as bold as I want, right, Yuqing?" In the end, she pinched his arm. "Where are we going?" "Just taking a casual stroll and looking around. You didn't get to explore the entire villa last time you were here," Yuqing said. "The villa's appearance is etched in my heart, but seeing the blueprint come to life is truly beautiful. I really like it." She is passionate about landscape design precisely because she adores this kind of classical beauty. "Qingqing, last time you said that Zhuang Sini couldn't have stolen your design drawings alone. We also analyzed who might be helping Zhuang Sini, apart from Secretary Lin, who we don't suspect. Do you have any idea who might be the most suspicious?" Yuqing shook her head. "I can't figure it out right now. Who would help Zhuang Sini plot against me? I've already lost contact with those people from before. It's fine if you're not in touch. Do you still remember their names? Write them down, and I'll give the list to Ouyang to investigate one by one. We'll eventually uncover the person in the know. The person in the know must be Zhuang Sini's accomplice, alright? I'll compile a list of people I've had dealings with in a moment. I'm afraid I'll have to trouble President Ouyang again." She knew that Ouyang Wei was helping her on Mu Changfeng's behalf, but Yuqing still felt deeply grateful to Ouyang Wei. Ouyang is someone who loves gossip the most. Having him investigate is like giving him a chance to indulge in the drama. He enjoys it thoroughly. Regardless, it's still an inconvenience for him. "I'll treat him to a meal when I have some free time another day." Mu Changfeng knew that Yuqing had a very good impression of Ouyang Wei. Even though he knew there was no possibility between them, he still felt a bit sour and said, "Ouyang has meals every day, there's no need for us to treat him. He lacks nothing, really. If he's missing anything, it's just a wife. Qingqing, if you know any good girls, you can introduce a couple to him." Yuqing laughed and said, "The only good friend I have now was already eyed by your third brother, the newly made friend, by Nuanuan. Is the sweetheart Jiu Chen has been searching for 10 years. Besides these two, I really don't know any other young women. In the past, she had many friends, but after the plagiarism incident 5 years ago, those friends chose to side with Zhuang Sini, and she cut off contact with those so-called friends. President Ouyang is so outstanding. He doesn't need to rely on matchmaking to get married. There must be plenty of girls who like him, if he wants to get married. All he has to do is say the word, and there will be no shortage of girls willing to marry him. By the way, what are his requirements? I can keep an eye out for him," Mu Changfeng said. "I'll ask him another day." Ring ring ring. Yuqing's phone rang. She took out her phone and saw the caller ID. It was an unfamiliar number. Yet it seemed vaguely familiar. After glancing at it, Mu Changfeng told her, "This is Zhao Pengcheng's phone number." Zhao Pengcheng, "Oh, you mean fourth young master Zhao. He called me, probably to chase after the repair fees." Yuqing remembered that day when she was driving back to the city and ended up rear-ending the car in front of her. As luck would have it, she happened to hit fourth young master Zhao's car. Since she was fully at fault, she had to be the one to pay for the damages. She has insurance. The insurance company will pay him directly, so he doesn't need to call her. Yuqing was puzzled but still answered Zhao Xixiao's call. "Zhao Xixiao, is your car fixed? How much did it cost? Will the insurance company cover the repair fees?" "It's not about that. What can I do for you, Zhao Xixiao?" Before she could finish, Zhao Xixiao interrupted her on the phone, saying, "Shu Yuqing, where are you now? Can we meet? There are some things I can tell you." "What's the matter? Can't it be said over the phone? I'm in a bad mood and want someone to have a couple of drinks with me." Yuqing, Zhao Xixiao was in a bad mood. But he shouldn't have asked her to have a drink with him. She has a huge grudge against fourth young master Zhao. Every time she calls him Zhuang Xini's lapdog, fourth young master Zhao glares at her as if he wants to devour her. "What's the matter? Had another fight with your sweetheart, fourth young master Zhao?" "I really don't want to call you a lapdog, but you really are one. There are so many women in the world, why must you hang yourself on Zhuang Xini's tree? Can't you try hanging from a different one? As long as the rope is strong enough, you can hang yourself from any tree." Zhao Xixiao's face darkened as he listened. He really is asking for a scolding. He knew full well that when Shu Yuqing criticized him, she was merciless and spared no harsh words, yet he still called her. 5 years ago, the design plan and blueprints for the renovation of the Mu family villa weren't actually plagiarized from Zhuang Xini. "But you had no evidence to prove your innocence," Zhao Xixiao said coldly. "I have the Ming Hotel." After saying that, he directly ended the call. Yuqing's expression turned serious. Zhao Xixiao had been Zhuang Xini's devoted follower for many years, helping her with many things, and Zhuang Xini trusted him deeply. Perhaps he really had evidence to prove that Zhuang Xini had plagiarized, but, given how much Zhao Xixiao loved Zhuang Xini, would he really expose the truth of her plagiarism to the world? Yuqing expressed doubt. "What did fourth young master Zhao say to you?" Mu Changfeng asked gently and calmly. "He probably had another conflict with Zhuang Xini. He said he was in a bad mood, drinking at Ming Hotel, and asked me to go over and have a couple of drinks with him. The sun clearly rose from the east today, yet fourth young master Zhao actually asked me to go drink with him." Yuqing found it utterly unbelievable. He also mentioned the plagiarism incident from 5 years ago, saying that Zhuang Xini was the one who copied me, and I just didn't have the evidence to prove my innocence. He's throwing me a bait to lure me in. Yuqing didn't want to drink with fourth young master Zhao. She had a deep-seated grudge against him and was afraid that if she got drunk, he might sell her out. However, the bait he dangled was incredibly tempting. Hadn't she been searching for years just to find evidence to prove that she wasn't the plagiarist? Mu Changfeng's face darkened upon hearing this. What does Zhao Pengcheng mean by that? If he's in a bad mood, that's his own problem. But he actually wants Yuqing to go over and have a couple of drinks with him. Yuqing is Mu Changfeng's wife. "Changfeng, your face is no different from Lord Bao's. Just draw a crescent moon on your forehead, and you'd be Lord Bao reincarnated." Yuqing chuckled softly as she gently pinched her husband's dark face. "Don't worry, I won't sneak off to drink with other men behind your back." Chapter 373, Announcing Marriage. "However, young Master Zhao has invited me over for a couple of drinks, and I'd still like to go. Honey, would you be interested in joining me for a couple of drinks?" The bait young Master Zhao threw out was quite tempting to Yuqing. She wanted to see how likely it was that young Master Zhao would betray Zhuang Xini. Mu Changfeng's face tightened. "If you want to go, I'll naturally go with you. But if that Zhao guy ever invites you for drinks again, no matter what reason he gives, you must refuse him." Yuqing laughed and said, "Do you think Zhao Xixiao and I are good friends or close buddies? He and I are practically sworn enemies. I've offended him, scolded him, and he wishes he could strangle me. Haven't you noticed, when he glares at me, it's like he wants to tear me to pieces." All right. From now on, whenever he asks me out for a drink, I'll refuse." Mu Changfeng's expression finally softened a little. Since they were going out for a drink, the couple quickly left the mountain villa. The two children stayed behind at the mountain villa. Ji Chen, who was waiting at the entrance of the villa, stood up abruptly and rushed forward when he saw Mu Changfeng's car coming out. However, Mu Changfeng drove past him in an instant. Mu Changfeng, Mu Changfeng. Ji Chen called out several times, but Mu Changfeng seemed not to hear. Carrying Yuqing away, the gate of the villa was closed again. The security guard on duty was guarding Ji Chen as if he were a thief, not giving him the slightest chance to break into the villa. In fact, Ji Chen didn't dare to force his way in. He was afraid of angering the Mu family, as they might really keep Nuan and her child at the villa, making it difficult for him to even see them. Ji Chen had been squatting at the entrance of the villa for quite a while. Yuqing said. Mu Changfeng said indifferently, "It's only been half a day, still very early. If he can keep watch for a year or two, I'd be moved." Yuqing chuckled. "Does he need you to be moved? What he needs is Nuanuan's warmth and affection. Only if I'm moved will I give him a backdoor opportunity. If I don't, he won't have any chance to reconcile with Bai Nuanuan." Changfeng. "What do you think will be the outcome for the two of them in the end?" Mu Changfeng said. "How would I know? I don't care about their outcome. I only care about when we will have our wedding and when we can become parents. He still has one more thing to do. It's about officially announcing that he is married." Thinking of this, Mu Changfeng slowed down the car and then called Ouyang Wei, instructing him to officially announce on the Da Mu Group's website that he is married. Ouyang Wei laughed and said, "Finally, it's time to make it official. I thought you were going to keep your marriage a secret. Making it official, I want everyone in Guangqing to know that Yuqing is my wife, the young mistress of the Mu family." Yuqing, making it official. Mu Changfeng smiled. "Yes, announcing that we're married." He then said to Ouyang Wei, "Wait a moment, after I park the car, I'll send you the photo of Qingqing and my marriage certificate. Once I upload our marriage certificate, everyone will know." Yuqing asked him, "Do you have a photo of our marriage certificate on your phone?" Back then, after she got the marriage certificate, she hurriedly left the Civil Affairs Bureau and then went to buy a truckload of fertilizer to take home. After showing the marriage certificate to her parents, she casually placed it in the drawer of her dressing table and never looked at it again. "I never took a photo with my phone." Mu Changfeng's gaze at Yuqing was full of affection. He said dotingly, "It's rare to have a wife, so of course I want to take a photo and keep it on my phone." Yuqing, being looked at like this by him, felt the happiness of being valued. Mu Changfeng sent the photo of the marriage certificate from his phone album to Ouyang Wei, instructing him to post the picture of him and Yuqing's marriage certificate on the official website of the Da Mu Group. Given the influence of the Da Mu Group in Guangqing, it would quickly become a hot topic on the city's trending searches after the official announcement. After completing all this, Mu Changfeng started the car again. "Do I look bad in the photo?" Yuqing remembered that when they took the marriage certificate photo, she wasn't wearing her glasses, so she often squinted to see clearly. She didn't have much of an impression of the couple's photo on the marriage certificate either. She only recalled that the photographer kept complaining about how far apart they were standing. In the end, it was Mu Changfeng who took the initiative, reaching out to wrap his arm around her shoulder and pull her close, creating an intimate pose. And only then did the photographer manage to take their wedding photo. "You're not bad looking. You have a pleasant appearance that's always nice to look at, no matter the time." Mu Changfeng laughed and said, "I'm not a shallow person. I don't value your appearance. I value the beauty of your heart more. Besides, you're really not ugly." In his eyes, she was very good looking. It's just that she worked all year round, often stayed in the orchard, rarely dressed up, and with the strong sun, her skin had become a bit tanned, making her look quite ordinary. He had seen her all dressed up, and she was stunningly beautiful. Mu Changfeng rarely let Yuqing dress up, as he had his own selfish reasons. He was afraid that after she dressed up, she would be so stunning that many men would admire her and try to compete with him for her attention. Although he believed his chances were very high, after all, he had the advantage of their two children. He still didn't want too many rivals in love. When young Master Zhao inexplicably called Yuqing, asking her to join him for a couple of drinks, Mu Changfeng became jealous. He suspected that young Master Zhao might have noticed Yuqing's charm. Shifting his affection away from Zhuang Xini and developing feelings for Yuqing instead, I don't think I'm ugly either, I just don't have the dazzling beauty that An Yu has. An Yu said you two are childhood sweethearts. To hell with childhood sweethearts, she's talking nonsense. Saying that on purpose to make you misunderstand me and then leave me. Ching. An Yu is not my first love, I've never liked An Yu, Mu Changfeng repeatedly emphasized. Yuqing laughed and said, An Yu is really good looking, though, are you sure you never had feelings for her before? Mu Changfeng snorted coldly twice. In our Mu family, there are plenty of handsome men and beautiful women. I've seen so many beauties like An Yu that I've become numb and feel nothing. He truly does not like An Yu, never. Never has he had romantic feelings for An Yu. Even in his youth, he never had a secret crush on anyone. The DNA test results should be coming out soon, right, very soon. Qin Wentian probably suspects that I had his blood drawn for a paternity test with the two children. Yuqing blinked and asked with concern, then, once the results are out, could he possibly tamper with them? He can't, Mu Changfeng said in a low voice. Ouyang's people are watching. Qin Wentian is somewhat capable. But compared to Ouyang, he's still far behind. In the future, once you understand the Ouyang family, you'll understand what I mean. Once the results come out, they will definitely be genuine. Mu Changfeng trusted Ouyang Wei's ability. Unless Ouyang Wei deliberately went easy, no one could swap out the DNA test results under his watch. Ouyang is always so impressive and outstanding. By the way, Changfeng, what methods did you use back then to get Ouyang to work so hard for you? Chapter 374. This is my wife. How can you say he's slaving away for me? Mu Changfeng laughed and said, I provided Ouyang with a platform for development, allowing him to freely utilize his talents within our DA Mu group. I also pay him a very, very high salary. Our relationship is mutually beneficial, of course. We're also close friends. I trust him, and he doesn't betray me. Mu Changfeng and Ouyang Wei have a very strong friendship. Jiyu Chen has tried countless times to poach Ouyang Wei from me, but Ouyang has always refused. Yuqing said, it's a blessing to have a true friend in life, just like her and Lin Xiaojun. A true friend doesn't need to be many, one is enough. Mu Changfu nodded. Yes, it's already a blessing to have one true friend in life, but you also need a rival, someone like Jiyu Chen, otherwise life would be quite dull. Yuqing chuckled. If Jiyu Chen had been present to hear Mu Changfeng's words, he would have been so infuriated that he could have coughed up blood. More than an hour later, the couple arrived at Ming Hotel. Zhao Xixiao's bodyguard was waiting for Shu Yuqing at the hotel entrance. They thought Shu Yuqing wouldn't come. After all, Shu Yuqing had a falling out with the four young masters and held a grudge against them. Knowing that Shu Yuqing is the eldest daughter-in-law of the Mu family, it's even more unlikely that she would come over. The fourth young master had several business deals snatched away by the DA Mu group, which led to him being scolded by the master. Because of this, the fourth young master holds a grudge against the Mu family. Shu Yuqing is the eldest daughter-in-law of the Mu family and is one with the Mu family. The Zhao family's bodyguards did not recognize Mu Changfeng's car at first. By the time Yuqing got out of the car, the Zhao family's bodyguards finally realized that the luxury car, which had seemed somewhat familiar to them, was actually the vehicle of the eldest young master of the Mu family. Seeing Mu Changfeng accompanying Shu Yuqing, the waiting Zhao family bodyguards exchanged glances with each other. Should we inform the fourth young master that young Master Mu is also here and ask if Miss Shu should be invited upstairs? One of the bodyguards immediately called Zhao fourth young master. After Zhao Xixiao answered the phone, he inquired, fourth young Master Mu is accompanying Miss Shu. Should we invite Miss Shu to come upstairs? Zhao Xixiao was not surprised that Mu Changfeng had come along. He said indifferently, invite the couple in. If Mu Changfeng had let Shu Yuqing come alone, the sun would rise from the west tomorrow. No normal man could remain indifferent upon hearing another man inviting his wife for a drink and simply let her go out alone, unless he didn't love her. After seeking instructions from young Master Zhao Sai, the bodyguard then approached Miss Shu, young Master Mu. The Zhao family bodyguard showed considerable respect toward Shu Yuqing. Mu Changfeng appeared noble and aloof in front of the Zhao family bodyguard, and he reminded them in a deep voice, "This is my wife, Zhao family bodyguard, Madam Mu, young master Mu, our fourth young master is waiting inside. Please follow us." As they spoke, they made a gesture of invitation to the couple. Mu Changfeng signaled Yuqing to take his arm. Yuqing, to appease this jealous man and to give Mu Changfeng face, Yuqing still complied with his wish and took his arm. The couple appeared very affectionate. They followed behind the Zhao family's bodyguard, walking slowly. The Zhao family's bodyguard occasionally stopped to wait for the couple, seriously suspecting that young Master Mu was deliberately walking so slowly to make their fourth young master wait. It's unclear what was going on with the fourth young master. Why would he invite Miss Xu over when he was in a bad mood and wanted to drink? Isn't the fourth young master supposed to be looking for Miss Zhuang? It took several minutes for Mu Changfeng and his wife to enter the private room where fourth young master Zhao was waiting. Rare guest indeed. Young master Mu, Zhao Sishao sat at the table, which was spread with a feast of delicious dishes to accompany drinks. There are several bottles of fine wine placed on the table, one of which has already been opened. Before the young couple arrived, fourth young master Zhao had already drunk 2 glasses of strong liquor by himself. At this moment, his handsome face was slightly flushed, likely due to the 2 glasses of strong liquor he drank on an empty stomach. It was only after he called Xu Yuqing that he had someone prepare this table full of delicious dishes to accompany the drinks. I guessed that Mu Changfeng would also come. The two had known each other for a long time, but because of Zhuang Xini, he had never shared a meal at the same table with Mu Changfeng. It was rare for them to eat and drink together. If he didn't prepare fine wine and good dishes, he had no idea how Mu Changfeng would criticize him. Mu Changfeng was his love rival. Young Master Zhao Sai didn't want to be looked down upon by Mu Changfeng. P.S. Everyone, I've tested positive. I had a high fever of 40 degrees yesterday. And although it's gone down now, I'm still feeling weak all over. I don't have the energy to write much for now, so I'll just update one chapter. Chapter 375, Young Master Zhao Sai, whose head got squashed by a door. Young Master Zhao Sai invites me for a drink, so I must show some respect. Mu Changfeng pulled Yuqing over. He gallantly pulled out a chair for Yuqing and invited her to sit down. Then he sat down beside Yuqing, and without hesitation, he immediately started serving food to his wife. Young Master Zhao watched Mu Changfeng's every move intently. There is envy, jealousy, and resentment in his eyes. Mu Changfeng is a child of fortune. From the moment he was born, he had a head start in life. Both are men, both are second-generation rich kids. So why is Mu Changfeng luckier than Zhao Pengcheng? The woman he likes is in love with Mu Changfeng. No, it's to Mu Changfeng's status and position. After all, the Mu family is the wealthiest in Guangcheng. Mu Changfeng is the head of the Mu family in this generation. Marrying Mu Changfeng is much better than marrying young Master Zhao Sai. The young Master Mu has never been so gentle and considerate to any woman before. It's hard for Xini to even get a chance to see you, but Xini has always wanted to marry you. She truly loves you deeply. Zhao Sishao swirled the wine in his glass. As he spoke these words, his gaze was fixed on Yuqing. He was not happy, nor could he bear to see Yuqing, with whom he had a deep-seated grudge, be happy. He deliberately brought up Zhuang Xini to make a point. Mu Changfeng picked up another serving of food for Yuqing and said gently, "Qing, this dish tastes quite good. Give it a try." "Okay." After tasting the food he had served, Yuqing hummed in approval and said, "It's quite good. The food at Ming Hotel is decent." Zhao Sishao couldn't help but say, "Although my Zhao family's hotel isn't as good as the Mu family's, it's still a 5-star hotel in Guangcheng, and the chef was hired at great expense as a master chef. Mainly, he specifically instructed the chef to bring out their best skills and prepare a table full of delicious dishes, appealing in color, aroma, and taste, to entertain the couple." Zhao Sishao felt he must have had too much to drink, or his head had been squeezed by a door. That was the only explanation for why he had entertained this couple with such high standards. They were practically his sworn enemies. Mu Changfeng had snatched away several projects he was about to finalize, causing him to be scolded by his father. Xu Yuqing often scolded him for being Zhuang Xini's lapdog, yet he invited them to eat and drink. What else could it be but a sign that his head had been slammed in a door? "Come, try the fine wine I have here." Young Master Zhao thought that since his head had already been slammed in a door, he might as well let it stay that way. He personally poured a full glass of wine for the two archrivals. Shu Yuqing, you must drink this glass of wine. Zhao Sishao handed one of the glasses to Yuqing, his dark eyes fixed on her attractive face. Why did he suddenly find Shu Yuqing quite beautiful? Mu Changfeng has a good eye. Yuqing took the glass of wine he offered but did not drink it. Instead, she set the glass down and asked with a faint, ambiguous smile, "Can fourth young Master Zhao give me a reason why I must drink it? I called you to ask you out for a couple of drinks. Since you're here, you have to have a couple with me. I'm in a really bad mood." Yuqing smiled and said, "Is it because of Zhuang Xini? Zhuang Xini doesn't actually love you or my family's Changfeng. What she loves is Changfeng's status, and she only loves herself, honestly. Although you're not a good person, you're not bad-looking and have pretty good qualities. Why insist on hanging yourself on Zhuang Xini's tree? How did you and Mu Changfeng meet and get married?" Zhao Sishao seemed not to have heard Yuqing's words, as he continued drinking and asking questions. "When you're in a bad mood, gossip about your rival's love story. We met through a blind date, and we thought it went well, so we got married." Yuqing answered fourth young Master Zhao's question very honestly. "Zhao Sishao, who on earth was the matchmaker that actually introduced Mu Changfeng to you for a blind date?" Mu Changfeng said to him. "Zhao Sai, you must be really provoked by Zhuang Xini to be so interested in my affairs. What, do you want to go on a blind date too? I don't need to go on blind dates, as long as I want to marry. Plenty of women would want to marry me." Heh. Mu Changfeng chuckled twice. Zhao Sishao was somewhat embarrassed and angry. "Mu Changfeng, what do you mean by chuckling twice?" "It just means chuckling." "Zhao Sishao, you mentioned Zhuang Xini's plagiarism to Yuqing on the phone. We're drinking and eating, so stop beating around the bush." Zhao Sishao drank another glass of wine. Then, he poured himself another full glass of wine, picked up his chopsticks to eat some dishes, and after taking several bites, he said maliciously, "I invited Shu Yuqing out for a drink, not you, Mu Changfeng. Since you came uninvited, I don't want to say anything else." Mu Changfeng wasn't angry either. He had guessed that fourth young Master Zhao wouldn't easily switch sides. He still couldn't bear to part with Zhuang Xini. Mu Changfeng guessed that young Master Zhao's bad mood was truly terrible, and inviting Yuqing over for a drink was probably just to scare Zhuang Xini. 5 years ago, Zhuang Xini plagiarized my Qingqing's design drawings. Even though she and her father used clever tactics to erase all traces of the plagiarism, I believe that heaven is fair. One day, my Qingqing's innocence will be proven. As for young Master Zhao's lack of discernment, it's not something that just started now. You've always been blind. I don't know how you can tolerate Zhuang Xini not loving you yet still using you to pursue me. No normal man could tolerate that. Right, Mu Changfeng deliberately glanced at young Master Zhao. I wonder which aspect of young Master Zhao is abnormal. I know many doctors, and my fourth brother is a doctor. I could have him help treat your condition. Is it because you can't make Zhuang Xini your woman that you're willing to be used by her? We're both men. So if you're not up to it in that department, you can tell me. I won't laugh at you." Zhao Sishao's face darkened. "Who says I'm not up to it? I'm perfectly capable. Who said I'm fixated on Zhuang Xini?" He was deeply hurt by Zhuang Xini. He's no longer fixated on Zhuang Xini either. Making such a demand, he was taking revenge on Zhuang Xini, treating her as a plaything. When he cherished Zhuang Xini like a treasure, she only used him, breaking his heart completely. So he treated her as a plaything, and once he was done, he discarded her. That was what Zhuang Xini brought upon herself. Mu Changfeng, you don't need to use reverse psychology. I won't fall for it. I know about Zhuang Xini's plagiarism. But why should I help your wife prove her innocence? That's your business. Mu Changfeng, not my wife's. If it were my wife who was wronged, I would naturally do everything in my power to clear her name. Mu Changfeng, so it turns out you're not all powerful after all. You can't handle and solve everything. Haha. Zhao Sishao belatedly realized that Mu Changfeng wasn't omnipotent after all. Just like the case of Shu Yuqing being wrongfully accused of plagiarism, Mu Changfeng currently has no way to clear Shu Yuqing's name. Shu Yuqing, this man is useless. Do you want to divorce him? Young Master Zhao said with a smile. As long as you divorce Mu Changfeng, I will help clear your name of the plagiarism accusation. How about that? After the words fell, a cup of wine was splashed onto his face. Thank you for watching. This is a full-length novel. If you'd like to see the continuation, please leave a comment below saying looking forward to more, or give the video a like. I'll update promptly based on your feedback. See you next time.